Remember, only you can choose to be the change that you wish to see. Aloha, international shifters, dreamers, people from all over the world. Welcome to the relaunch of Paradigm Shift community admin meetings here through the ParadigmShiftCentral.com project. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let's all unmute our microphones, all of the people in here, and say hello to the beautiful, beautiful friends out there on the internet.
Hello, beautiful friends on the internet.
Namaste.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you
Aloha, namaste.
so much. Namaste. Awesome and shifty and changing the world and stuff like that. So thank you so much, guys, for being here, for tuning into this, for those of you who are able to tune in live and those of you who are tuning in the future. As I mentioned, this is part of the ParadigmShiftCentral.com project, which is a real-world game to help shift consciousness. So with this meeting, this is a Paradigm Shift community admin meeting, so this is going to be a little bit different from those of the previous broadcasts that perhaps you've already tuned into. And we're going to tell you a little bit of how it's going to be different, as well as a brief introduction to the project. So basically, this project, ParadigmShiftCentral.com, as I said, it's a real-world game to help shift consciousness. The website itself is evolving into a global media broadcast network for shifters across the globe. But more so than that, it is also about the creation of physical paradigm shift communities. And physical paradigm shift communities are basically the concept of hosting regular open-minded discussion and meditation circles. Now, whether you're referring to your meetups as a paradigm shift community or not is kind of secondary. Ultimately, we want to be able to give you guys some additional inspiration as to how you can help create and facilitate conscious community where you are. So we have a variety of people with us here tonight. My name is Brendon, and I'm with Paradigm Shift London, Ontario, Canada. And this whole project, which is something we'll explain a little bit more as we go, this whole project began as a single club in my college back in 2009. And so since then, obviously, the project has continued to evolve, and now, on paper, there are over 50 paradigm shift communities across the world, and that is continuing to grow. So the project itself has really gone through a variety of chapters and stages, and within the last year, there has been quite a substantial reboot, including the new website that we have, and that in itself is something that is still under construction, but it is running parallel to the resurgence of the next generation of paradigm shift communities that are going to be popping up in the coming years. So again, the paradigm shift communities, they are about creating a space where people can come together, they can connect with other conscious-minded people in their community, and they can practice having open-minded discussion and meditation. So this is a place, in the same way the digital online hangouts that we do are much like that, the physical online hangouts are the same concept. They are a place for people to practice having those conversations and also to be able to collectively support and inspire each other along our paths. So there's some very exciting aspects to this project, and this is really about making it, bringing it off the internet and bringing the energy into the physical space so that we can create those portals that will act as an opportunity for synchronicity to be evoked so that the right people can find your community and it will be able to become a part of their life. They'll be able to build relationships with the people they meet, and they'll be able to learn about metaphysical topics and our multidimensional reality and lucid dreaming and all sorts of amazing things, and you can be the person to help create these meetings. So the concept for the meetings is something we'll get into more as we go, including how to facilitate them, different types of meetings that we can do, the concept of sacred space, and all sorts of additional tips and tricks related to hacking the matrix, shiftivism, free hugs, social media tactics, and more. So what we're going to do, we're going to go around and do a bit of a brief introduction for people who are tuning into this. And again, you know, some of these people tuning into this are admins who have been around for a while, and some of them are also new. And you choose to be an admin. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's no like official thing where you have to meet a certain requirement. You are the person who chooses whether or not you want to be an admin, and then all you have to do is just stay in touch with the project and let us know how it is coming along. So we're going to go through, and each person's going to give a little bit of an introduction as to who they are, where they're from, and their involvement with hosting conscious community where they are. So I'll just begin very briefly. My name, as I said, is Brendon. I'm in London, Ontario, Canada, with Paradigm Shift London, and again, that is the first Paradigm Shift community. That was the original genesis of this project, and as I said, it began as a single club in my college. Currently, we still have regular meetups every Friday at a downtown yoga studio, and they're continuing to be very, very good. Every week is different. We're still getting new faces out, and it's still something that's evolving, and I'll explain to you guys a little bit more later on as to how it is evolving within my community, within our community. So yeah, shout outs from Paradigm Shift London, Ontario, Canada. So from there, we'll pass the talking stick around, and let's even though I'm just going to do it left to right on my screen. So from left to right, we have Ashley, and Ashley is a new participant to the community, and fortunately we've been able to connect on Instagram just recently. But Ashley, please, if you would like to unmute yourself, tell us who you are, where you're from, and your involvement with creating conscious community, and anything else you want to share.
My name is Ashley. I'm out in Los Angeles, California, and I basically had an awakening experience at the end of last year that rocked my world. I ended up quitting my job, moving down to LA, and so yeah, I find myself down here, and there's a huge community that's down here, I've realized, and I've really been able to get involved with the California Consciousness group. That's actually recently they changed their name to Cosmic Consciousness. They were out in New York last weekend, but I've been learning a lot from them, and I wanted to kind of create my own meetup group because I do notice that a lot of the meetups around here do cost money. So I want it to be a free, accessible place where people can come and just talk and know that having an awakening experience is something that changes your whole world. And I just want people to know that there's other people out there that are experiencing it and that they're not alone. And it's funny, I created my meetup, and it's called Starseeds and Lightworkers, and in the first 2 days I had over 100 people join. So I know that there's a huge, like, people are searching for this kind of group and this kind of community out here. And I had my first sharing circle out here at a park, and it was really great, and it went super well, but I really wanted to learn from you guys for ideas for things that I can do in the future to just make it a bit more organized and have more of a structure to it. And I just really want to learn from all of you, and I really want to help bring people together, and I just want to spread the love and let people know that there's others out there that are going through this, and that we're all going to hopefully change the world together. So, yeah.
You are so
welcome again. It's got the California glow to her. So. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Ashley, for tuning in, and yeah, it's great to see that we have people literally from all over the world right now. So from coast to coast. So yeah, and definitely, I'm excited to at least hear more about the ongoing success of how things are going out there. And you're right, like California is a place that's ripe for consciousness shifting events. So yeah, I'm excited to see how things will unfold for you. So. Awesome. So cool. Thanks again, Ashley.
Thank you.
And just as a reminder for everyone who is in this broadcast, if you are looking to connect with them, I'll include their information into the show notes. So Ashley, you'll be able to connect with her, and you'll be able to connect with any of the other people who you hear who theoretically may be even close to you. And one of the things I'll just plant the seed for this now is a big part of the project is the evolution of the team map, and that's something that we'll be able to talk about within this broadcast, and that's something that I'm still constructing, but it's going to be like a visual tool to show us where we are and where the individual shift communities are as well. So really exciting stuff. And from there, we'll pass it to Michelle. So Michelle, if you would like to introduce yourself, please go right ahead.
Well, my name is Michelle Infinity. I really am grateful for what Ashley was bringing to the circle. I thought that was a beautiful message that to start. And something that I wanted to share with you, Ashley, is that in order to keep a more organized space, you can treat it like a ceremony. So if you want to make a class and you want to bring a ceremonial aspect, you can have a prayer in the beginning or do something that you feel brings, like Brendon, like take a breath or a meditation, like let's all tune into each other's frequency right away. And then that will kind of set a stage in a higher octave dimension where everybody's on a unified vibration. And then from there, people feel their hearts more open and are sharing. And that unified vibration is really what creates a container, as they say in the New Age community, that like allows the safety bubble so people can really express from their hearts. So that's something that I've learned by facilitating workshops and watching other people. So I just want to give that.
Thank you.
Yeah, my honor.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, cool. So yeah. So what else? What else am I going to share? I feel that. Oh, this is what I wanted to say, and this also goes with what Ashley was saying, was that the thing that I love about Sacred Circle and Sacred Ceremony is that we get to reconnect to God and divinity, and there is a forgetting that is a part of the human condition, that we forget and we go into separation. We feel like we're alone, and it's by meetings like this with my kindred brothers and sisters, and like feeling that connection to the fact that we are all craving that whole that remembrance of like what truth really is. And it's amazing that we forget, but it's what I'm learning in my life more and more. It's not so much on my own that I remember, like going into my own work in spirit, and that's beautiful and it's great, but like I'm shifting into a phase where I'm really calling to be more a part of a community than I've ever been before, with a different direction of like really honoring the other people in the community as parts of God, which I've never done really. I've just been like kind of isolated. So so that's beautiful. So you can see how working with other people like creates a different dimension to the earth, because then you're really in service to something. So that's what I wanted to share.
And Michelle, you've had some experience with facilitating sacred space as well. Do you want to just share that real quick, and we'll talk more about it later?
Yeah, of course. So something that I love to do is it's called a Bhakti Mantra workshop. That was like that's the favorite. That's the favorite of all of the things that I've done. I was a yoga teacher for years, and I do counseling sessions. I do energy work and healings, which are stellar. But there's something about getting people to tune into their hearts and their voices at the same time. So it's like we ask spirit to sing through us, and then connect to our hearts, we connect to our minds, we connect to our intention, and then chanting mantra, the holy names, is like the epitome, I think, of I don't know, of grace, you know, because you're invoking the frequency of this primordial sound that's like ancient, and again, for remembering it, you're calling it to you. And I started exploring with shamanic work as well and doing drumming, and there's just so much of that ancient remembering that we lose when we get lost in like the techno age of Aquarius, which is wonderful, but there's something about that depth that we miss. And coming together in community and getting primal with each other is really, really freeing. So.
Cool, awesome. Well, thanks, Michelle. And again, so like as an example, like Michelle, like she's facilitating space. It's not necessarily under the title of Paradigm Shift Community, but still, like we welcome her as a leader, and so thank you so much for being here, Michelle.
Gratitude, brother. I honor you as well.
Awesome. All right, so we'll pass it over to Brianna next. So Brianna, please introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Brianna. I'm also known as Breezy Spread Love on the internet. Michelle is my homegirl. She's always in service to the big G, Gaia, you know. Had to throw that out there. Yeah, I know. Love you too. Oh my gosh. So I'm Paradigm Shift. I've been with Paradigm Shift Central since like 2012. First ran into Brendon through 3 Days of Light Consciousness Shifting Festival, and started my own Paradigm Shift Livonia / Metro Detroit. And so those Facebook groups are still active, but right now I'm kind of like home base in West Michigan, so Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo area. So if you guys want to hook up, if you're in West Michigan area, definitely come through Kalamazoo because I'll be in the zoo. And there's a full moon meditation coming up on Saturday. And there's this cool metaphysical shop called New Moon in Kalamazoo that has a lot of really great resources for the paradigm shift community here. So yeah, recently all we've been doing is really new moon and full moon hangouts. But I like Ashley's idea with the sharing circle and just getting that going because that's really open and excessive and can be done at any time of the day and you don't have to wait for the full moon. So I think that's like a great idea that I might start using. So thank you, Ashley. And yeah, no, I think it's pretty impressive how much it has grown since 2012 and how much the website has evolved and how, if you look at the map, how big everyone is. Like there's a ton of people in the UK and stuff. So I don't know, it's just so expansive. Really happy about that. So thank you, Brendon, for having me on tonight. And for, in general, creating the website and creating a platform where we can all come together and talk about these topics, which are really important to a lot of us, as we've all said over and over again. But yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Brianna. And I know you mentioned you had to leave earlier at some point. How long do you think you're sticking around for?
I think I'm gonna dip out now. Yeah, I nanny
Okay.
in the morning, so young minds to mold, and I'm
Yes.
well rested to do so.
That's a big part of the shift right there is nannying. So
Yep.
yeah, cool.
Well, good night, guys.
Okay.
Night,
Thanks again, Brianna.
Breezy. Night.
Good
Bye.
night, Breezy. Have a good night's rest.
Thank you. See you in the astrals.
See you in the astral. All right.
Out.
You rock. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna keep moving along here, and yeah, there's some other points that I got in my mind, but we'll just keep going through the introduction. So from there, we'll have Joel to introduce themselves next. So Joel, you're there, I presume.
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Joel, and I guess I can say representing Paradigm Shift Brampton, which is something that recently launched with my buddy here, Anthony. And we've had 3 meetups. We actually created a meetup.com page for it. And we kind of came with, I showed Anthony the idea of what it's kind of like about, and it's kind of evolved into this thing of just bringing people together to kind of be able to access one another and to pool resources and to, in order to build on common interests things that we want to see in our community that don't exist, whether they be any kind of particular meetup or learning workshops or dance events, some cultural artsy thing. And so that's, we just really started this like a bit over a month ago, and so we're trying to keep the momentum with at least like once a month and doing a meeting. So we're about getting ready, I think, for that time when they're in it right now. And at the same time, also, I started another meetup as well that I haven't put like life into yet, but its focus is around bringing like healer type people, but anyone who's like in a helping healing type profession, holistic healing, whatever modality that may be. And my intention with that is to create again like a safe space where people can come and offer their gift, whether it happens like in a one-to-group format or just a one-on-one format where people can pair off and offer their gift, whatever it may be. You know, examples might be a nutrition consultation or whatever else, like whatever people practice. And so that's kind of what we've been brewing here, and I think that we're really letting it evolve organically without much attached expectation, so that we can be flexible to meet whatever the arising needs are of the community. So I've got a lot of ideas and things, but right now we're just kind of letting it, figuring out like kind of where people are, who wants to be like kind of more involved and who has ideas they want to act on and that kind of thing. So it's like there's a little bit of filtering to go through as well. And I think that sums up the endeavor so far.
Cool. Thanks again, Joel. So we'll definitely, yeah, I mean, obviously there's more stuff to talk about, but we'll kind of bounce around and everything like that. So yeah, we'll keep moving along here, and Kyle, if you would like to introduce yourself next, please go ahead.
Absolutely. How's it going, guys? My name is Kyle. I'm from Newark, Delaware. And I'm here because I share the same passion as Brendon here. Said it a couple other times. I don't know if anyone's heard it, but it seems like someone took a slice out of my brain and put it somewhere else in the world, and that just took, I don't know, just I came across the paradigm shift, and it just made way too much sense to me. It's kind of the same exact thought process I've had since I was a child. So it's really unique to find such like-minded individuals, and it's just motivated me to get on this ball. I feel like it's what I should have been doing many years ago, but I'm still in the process of growing and learning. I currently have a little thing going here in Delaware. There's not a lot of people involved in it right now. It's kind of just me. I got a couple guys who are interested in it, but they haven't gotten the time to get out yet. Work schedules and things conflict. I've got some extra time on my hands right now that I'm dedicating to this because I'm switching jobs. I'm getting a new job. It's going to be paying some more money, some good stuff. So I'm taking like a week to just focus on recentering myself, realigning myself, and getting everything clear. I quit drinking not a long time ago, probably like 4 or 5 months ago, and I was in a bad place, and I started drinking a little bit before the military. I enlisted and did that whole mess. Got some trouble. Now I'm here, and I've just remembered. It's just it's stuck with me the entire way throughout my entire life. My belief system that I kind of created, I guess. But I guess you wouldn't say created because other people tap into that energy too, just like Brendon. He seems to have tapped into the same exact source that I tapped into when I was young. So it's just too much of not a coincidence, I guess you could say. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited to be part of the project and get this global paradigm shift rolling, guys. I've practiced shamanism for a very long period of time. Since I was young, it started with like classical witchcraft and many, many other things, Middle Eastern energy techniques, all kinds of stuff I've integrated into my belief system. I really like to follow the Hindu gods the most. I feel like they kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna pass it on now.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. And remind me again, like Delaware, is that Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? No, wait.
Delaware is a state itself.
I love that you just asked that.
I know. Right? Delaware is a
state.
state. It's the first state ratified, part of the first original 13 colonies. It's called the Diamond State because we're the banking capital of America. Not anymore, but we used to be. That's why we're the Diamond State, not because it's the smallest state. And we have one of the largest populations. It's kind of crazy, but it's only because it's small. So yeah, Newark, Delaware.
Okay. All right. So good to know. Awesome.
It's tiny.
Go ahead. It's tiny, eh? Yeah. Like that's something. That's something we'll get into talking about, like the idea of like choosing names for our communities. Usually, I encourage people to sort of like refer to the paradigm shift community by city, by town. Yet some people, depending on particular situations, will even do it by state or even by country. So that's why we have things like Paradigm Shift South Africa, which is like a very big area, though it's like it's focused in like Cape Town.
Paradigm Shift.
Yeah, and then we have like Paradigm Shift like Holland and Paradigm Shift Germany, but like there's no like Paradigm Shift Canada. Like there's individual ones within Canada. So we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, just when people are thinking about the names, try to keep it relatively centralized around a particular location of a sort. So yeah, okay. Now we'll keep moving along here, and we actually just from left to right, or what are we doing, Kyle? You're drawing a map. Okay.
That's
so,
Delaware. That's what Delaware
it
looks like. Really, really, it's funny. Just look on the map, you'll see it.
Once I add it to the team map, then I'll know exactly where it is. So.
Excellent.
Perfect. Cool. All right. So I'm going to pass it around to a next person in the circle. And from left to right on my screen, we actually have a new player who has joined the game, and this is Roman. And Roman, shout out to you, and we're just doing brief introductions. So again, we're just saying who we are, where we're from, and then if like we've been involved with creating community,
what our journey is,
or just like why you might be interested in helping create a conscious community where you are, like what motivates you to do so, if that's something you're moving.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh. Well, as it's already been stated, my birth name is Johnny Roman Garza. Go by Roman, the middle name. Ever since a young age, I've always questioned things. Not so much that, I mean, not like Kyle, where he was. You were in the military, correct? Yeah. So from that point, he had been going through indoctrination to be able to put up with that and to follow the orders and do the tasks, learn the things and whatnot. But really, it was a couple of years ago, I think, right around 13 or 14. I didn't really get into anything spiritual or philosophical up until probably a year or two ago, starting with certain different philosophers and then not really focusing on them and whatever their doctor teachings were. It was more like, why were they teaching that? So I don't exactly have a paradigm shift of my own. I mean, I guess I do in a metaphorical sense, but no official website or anything. I mean, I run a Facebook page to try to put the knowledge out there in bits, and so people could form up the entire tapestry for themselves as the truth, instead of taking bits and pieces from different religions and belief systems around the world and, you know, making their own truth out of it relativistically. But yeah, it basically started from a point when I began learning about where most people are nowadays, where the voting system is bollocks and politics just really isn't the answer. And then you become an atheist, and then you're really cynical about everything. And maybe if or not, you take that road. There's millions of branches of roads people can go through. But I decided to keep going down the path of truth, wherever the evidence led, wherever the spiritual comprehension went, made more sense. I mean, I have like a generalization of knowledge of just about everything. I mean, there's obviously more for me to know, but any subject is canon for me. So yeah, I don't know if I'm missing something. I think I am, but that's a general summation.
I'm not sure. I was just going to ask. I'm not sure if you said, but whereabouts are you located?
Oh, Chandler, Arizona.
Cool. And is there much like conscious community stuff already happening around there that you know of, or?
Not that I've necessarily looked, because I'm not looking so much to join a community as I am to kind of just everyone to kind of share the knowledge individually and kind of expand, rather than kind of creating a community where everything is sort of fenced off. But I don't know, that's just a perception. But I haven't really looked, but the closest thing I found are like voluntarist ranches where people kind of are self-sufficient.
Well, cool. I mean, I imagine there's probably like yoga studios and stuff. There's yoga studios everywhere, so
that's its own thing. But the hard part is finding the actual teachers and the people who know what they're talking about. Because you'll find all different kinds of paths and different roads, and different, don't know, not teachings, but like dogma. People who follow dogma, people who stray from dogma, people who are authentic, people who are inauthentic, but they're free will driving some kind of new age to something. But the idea of spiritual, philosophical wisdom has been around since antiquity, so it's not hard to trace history and really find the true purpose of it all. Because the saying, "There's nothing new under the sun," is quite true when it comes to all of this. It's a rediscovery.
Yeah, and again, you know, like with the concept of the paradigm shift communities, like that's kind of what makes them work, is the fact that they're relatively generic and open-ended. It's not, you know, even this, we'll talk about this more and stuff, but you know, when we're talking about even just why we would refer to, why we use the term paradigm shift. Like when I was starting this, like I had the option to call it something else. Like,
Oh
but,
yeah,
but
that's a really good name because
it's
there's a paradigm and the paradigm itself
it's
needs to shift.
yeah, and that's it, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
like opposed to
I
calling
kind
it
of think the
like
word shift itself grabs a lot of attention because that's the first thing that I saw was the word shift, and it pulled me in because that's
right.
what we called a special gift that me and my friends had. We recognized it very young. Me and a select group of friends that I've got, we recognized we were very spiritually open, and that's one of the things that we referred to one of our gifts as was the shift. So.
Yeah, I remember you saying that and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, so again, you know, like opposed to calling the communities like, you know, like a super spiritual best friends club or something like that, right? Like you give it a name like that, and then there's going to be a percentage of people who would just be like, ooh, like I don't know, that doesn't
Yeah.
sound for me,
Well,
right? So,
people don't really have the inclination to do anything like that unless they themselves feel a little crazy. Like the only way to be sane is to be insane in an ultimately insane world, you know?
well, even the
Forget
word
what.
insane is like in.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh, there's a quote.
backwards.
I think Vernon Howard. He says, "Human sickness is." This isn't the exact quote, but this is what he's saying. Like human sickness is so overt and everywhere that anyone who chooses to look at the human sickness will they themselves become well. You know.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll. Yeah. I mean, in terms of like again, like sort of like the intentions behind the communities and stuff, we'll flesh that out. But at the very basics, like it is a place to just like bring people together from different points of views so that we can collectively share and learn together. So instead of like bringing people to a paradigm shift community and say like this is like what we're teaching you and this is like what you like have to know and have to
it's
agree
no
with.
school.
Yeah, it like it is and it isn't. It's a very like almost going back to like times of like very like Socrates and stuff like that. It's more of a uh, not like a pantheon and stuff like that, but yeah, just like a place where everyone can kind of come and share ideas, and there may be a person facilitating it, but I mean, again, like everybody has like the opportunity to add their ideas, and then that's where the education comes from. So you get people who come from different backgrounds, come from different perspectives, and it is about practice. It's about like developing our social interactions, and then from there it evolves, and you know it gets more deeper into the sacred space, and then you know even things that Michelle was talking about when you really start getting into like the group meditations and like the healing that comes out of these sacred spaces. So there's kind of like chapters and degrees that the paradigm shift communities can sort of function at. So again, we'll explore that more later. Let's just keep going through the introduction. So Roman, thanks again for tuning in, man. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
so,
great.
Cool, thanks, man. All right, so we'll pass it over to Sherman, and Sherman, if you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, and please go right ahead. Yep. Sherman, you're there. Go ahead.
Awesome. Hey guys, my name's Sherman.
Do you want to adjust your mic just before you get going?
Actually, can you hear me?
Yeah, that sounds okay. I think that's fine.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, you know what? You want to come back to me and get phone, get it worked out?
Because I mean, the last time we were doing it sounded pretty good, but I'm not sure if you changed the setting. So, but yeah, we can come back to you. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll pass it over to Paul real quick. So Paul, if you would like to introduce yourself, from the UK.
Hi all, hi guys. My name's Paul, aka Seafood Boggy, which I'm on Facebook and also on YouTube. I am the sort of nomadic group leader for Heathrow, London, UK. Paradigm Shift Heathrow, London, UK. There's one we've had a few meetings. There's been a couple times, but a little bit sporadic, a little bit spontaneous. So still sort of building up because of the main job I do. I'm all over the place. I do shifts all the time, so it's very it's not easy for myself personally to do one day a week. But we do we have done ones at different times. As I said, I am on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and yeah, the thought of we're all here to help each other. I go by Sifu because Sifu means muse. It means parent teacher, somebody who guides you, not somebody who tells you what to do, but somebody who guides you, shows you the way, points you in the right direction. Because for me, everyone and everything is your Sifu. So that's yeah, I know a lot of stuff. I love science. I love philosophy. I love spirituality, but I'm not stuck in one. Is the viewpoint is that the more things you know, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you enhance. The more you grow. Yep, that'll do.
Awesome, thanks, Paul. And Paul's a veteran within the Paradigm Shift community, so he's been around since about 2011, I think, give or take. So happy to have you here still, Paul. Awesome. All right, and Sherman, do you want to?
Still ticking.
Sherman, do you want to give it another go? And double check your mute. Yeah, go for it.
Can you hear me?
That's so much better.
Come back, Sherman.
You're perfect.
Fantastic. Hey guys, my name's Sherman. I'm from Maryland. Actually, I've been kind of planning on just wanting to sit back from this meeting because I've been toying around with the idea of just kind of taking the plunge and actually, I guess, starting a paradigm shift community in my area. So I just kind of wanted to sit back and really kind of watch, I guess, what, if you will, the admins do, let them do what they do, and just kind of see how it plays out, because I'd like to see how it's done to really maybe get some ideas on how to possibly do it. So yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Cool.
yo, my man, I'm in Delaware, and we've had this conversation the last time. We're not that far away. So if at any point you do want to link up, dude, we're not that far.
Totally.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, there you go. Already, the ripples are happening as we speak, live on air. So
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely, man. I'm also trying to start up one of these meetups right now while I'm listening to everybody.
Perfect. Cool. Okay, guys. So thanks again for being here, for being a part of this, and again for the people listening to this. This is a real unfolding story, and again, like when we talk about Paradigm Shift Central being a game, the idea of gamifying it is just to sort of add like another degree of a texture to what it is that we're doing here, which helps for some people make it like more engaging, more exciting, and that game, the way how you play the game is by helping shift consciousness, and it is by helping shift consciousness within yourself, within your physical communities. So again, this project, what makes it a little bit different from other projects is that we really do want to be able to encourage people to engage with their physical communities, knowing that it makes such a big difference. So I'm just going to explain to you guys a little bit about like the genesis as to like my own personal motivations behind this. So long story short, I had my own awakening way back in the day of it began way back in like 2000 whatever, but around 2009 was when I sort of got the extra inspiration for after I spent some time on the West Coast in Vancouver. I had some experiences of my own. I began spending a lot of time researching. I began to understand a lot more about like our interconnectedness and the idea that we're multidimensional beings, and particular synchronicity. And then so when I came back to London, Ontario, Canada, because I was only there for a few months because of school, I came back to Canada and I was just like, okay, if I build it, they will come. Like that is like the simplest thing but behind this, because I understood how synchronicity worked. And it was basically the idea of like, hey, there's all these topics that are super interesting to me. Like I really like learning more about lucid dreaming. I really like learning more about like, just like metaphysics and Sasquatch and philosophy and UFOs, all these things that they don't really talk about too much in school. So we have to talk about it amongst each other, and that's how we're going to be able to learn, knowing that I only had so much information, but somebody else, maybe they've learned from other ways, maybe they've got their own books, maybe they've got their own experiences. So the idea was, let's bring them together. And even right from the get-go, the whole concept of this was very much something that I explained as a social experiment, in the idea that I didn't fully know exactly what was going to happen, but I knew that people would find it. So when the project began in my school, this is like getting into the advice for anybody who's in a school, that is a super ripe place to begin a paradigm shift community. So you can actually begin it as a club. You could theoretically register it as a club, and in some places they'll actually give you club funding, which you can use to help print off posters, and it can be a huge incentive to help get you started. When we began, excuse me, when we began the meetings in my club, we did just do a few that were just regular open-minded discussion, and we promoted them that way. But then to get some initial people in, we actually promoted them with specific topics. So I knew some people who I invited in as guest speakers. So we had a particular topic related to lucid dreaming and astral projection, and that was like one of our first really big meetings. And then from there, this is like another little tip and trick. Within college, I encourage you guys to use this, and some of you would have heard me mention this way back in the day, but we actually had free punch and pie at our meetings. So like this was like a little incentive. So like it's actually like a reference to South Park the movie, if anybody knows about that. The whole idea of like more people will come if there's free punch and pie, and it literally does work in the sense of like it being a college. And so what we did, we would have our meetings. We would schedule them about 2 weeks in advance. I created posters in Photoshop, and there's templates for the posters online for this, and even in this broadcast on the website, if you scroll down, you'll see relevant links, and one of them is poster files. It's the admin support files, and then through this, it's just a matter of putting the posters up, making them sort of like psychedelic art. I had like Alex Gray art on them at the time, and it literally said, like lucid dreaming and astral projection, and then like in big bold letters, there's like free punch and pie. So I mean, kind of playing onto the demographic was a part of what initially helped bring people out. And so even then, like obviously, like like straight up, like there were people who would show up, like they would like go like get high, like like smoke a bowl, show up for the pie, and then end up sticking around for the metaphysical discussion. And they're just like, wait, like what's but they would get something out of it. So I mean, again, you can target your demographic. So I mean, if you're doing it in a college, you can play around with that. And then even when we were in our college, we started making pamphlets. So again, the pamphlets and the posters work under the concept of synchronicity, knowing that each of these images, and even having the paradigm shift sigil on them, had like a gravitational field to it, a portal. So people would literally find them. So we would take pamphlets and we would put them on tables, and we would put them on like benches and stuff like that, and people would find them. They would pick them up and be like, oh, like like free punch and pie, like what? And oh, metaphysical discussion. Oh, like this is exactly what I'm interested in. So that was kind of how the project began to evolve as a club in the college, and that was successful, and that worked, and more people came out there, and then that created the foundations for eventually when I graduated from college, I took the meetings outside of the college and began doing them at a yoga studio in our city. So this is the beginning of the steps as to how you can create a paradigm shift community where you are. If you're not in a college, that's okay, because there's a million and one ways to do it. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do is to just think about where you can have your meetings. So this can be in yoga studios, it can be in parks, it can be in libraries, it can be in community centers, and theoretically it can even be at somebody's house. But the top choices that you want to go for are yoga studios, and yoga studios, libraries, and parks would be your main ones. Having it at someone's house may make it difficult for some people to feel comfortable going to, just because it's easier for them to sort of attend something if it's in a public space. So I wouldn't recommend having it advertised at your house right from the get-go. You may find that will sort of make it difficult. And then so again, from there, when we didn't have specific topics being promoted, and didn't have specific guest speakers coming in, they would literally just be promoted as open-minded discussion and meditation circles. So keeping it very simple. But again, from there, the people come into the meetings, and you would sit in a circle. If you're on the floor, you would sit on the floor. If you're in a classroom or at school, we would sit around a table. And then this is the next step as to like how we would facilitate discussion. So you want to have one person who is facilitating the discussion, opposed to it just being, like everybody like talking amongst each other. That's totally fine, but again, in order to play around with the structure, somebody's going to need to step in as facilitator. So that is like where the role of the admin comes in. And then when that happens, basically, you begin the meeting just by introducing the concept of what it is you're doing, reminding people that this is just about practice. This is just about like having fun. And then from there, you introduce the simple concept of like how to help facilitate the discussion. So a simple technique that works for where we have been doing it is when somebody has something to add, instead of like raising their hand or trying to talk over someone, simply tell them to take their hand with the palm up and hold it into the circle. So that's literally like saying they have something to offer into the circle. So it's a little bit like less intrusive, and it's just an easy way to keep track of when people have something to say. And then your role as facilitator will be able to be like, okay, like Billy and then Johnny, like Sarah and then Joe, and then you sort of do that and you bounce around, and then you use the hand technique too. So then you would go through the discussion, and then maybe the discussion would go for 90 minutes, maybe it would go for 2 hours. You'll be surprised how fast time flies. And within the discussion, you're going to either use questions or you're going to use specific topics. So, I mean, a great topic, again, when people show up for the first meeting, I encourage you guys to talk about lucid dreaming if that's something that interests you, because everybody dreams, everybody has the potential to be interested in dreams, and it branches off into so many other topics. And so some simple topics that you can introduce to the group, you can just ask them, like, what are your guys' thoughts on dreams? What are your guys' thoughts on meditation? What are your guys' thoughts on, again, you can expand, you can be like, what are your thoughts on sacred geometry, on fractals, on UFOs, on psychedelics, on like ghosts or anything like that? You can really sort of there's an infinite amount of topics that you can play with. So
it's also not so much what do you think
Roman.
about a subject, it's not just what you think about a subject, it's what do you know about the subject and what historical significance does that subject have.
Mm-hmm.
Because a bunch of people can just get together and think about something, but unless they actually want to evolve and make some kind of progress and interest more people and go deeper down the rabbit hole, so to speak, then you kind of have to back up everything. Like, what is lucid dreaming? Why does it happen? And if the why it happens is kind of an iffy explanation, then try to back up that iffy explanation with, like, well, a lot of people believe either in the God Bible or the Vedas or whatever spiritual texts that are out there, that is the creator God, which the creator God is the universe, the all-encompassing driving moral force in the universe. It's kind of just this creative intelligence that surrounds everything. It's what makes infinite consciousness experiencing itself, that whole Ouroboros figure eight infinity kind of concept. But those creator gods were not the creator gods, the quote-unquote lowercase g gods.
Like demigods?
Yeah, the demigods, whatever you want to call them, symbolically, reptilian, all those whole conspiracies. I don't know if you guys are comfortable talking about that kind of stuff. I'm not a true believer.
Totally, man. Conspiracies are cool to talk about, something,
Yeah, but I don't want to slate Brendon off here. I just kind of want to mention quickly. A lot of things have to be understood esoterically in each religion, and then occultively, which is the underlying base of all esoteric information, and the allegorical stories and symbols that have kind of existed ever since things have been recorded on tablets and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it just trace it back from there all the way to people thinking about it. You've got Aristotle, Socrates, Pythagoras, the scholars who visited Egypt, the scholars of the Library of Alexandria, and it's coming and it's tracing all the way to the Renaissance. And I think a lot of not sacrilege, burning of knowledge, like the disregard of knowledge and the dissuading of wisdom kind of happened around whether or not you believe these are the actual timestamps, but I'm going to be using somewhere around 880 to 1300 AD. A lot of things happened that altered time and history.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, again, like with any of the topics, like that's kind of the idea is that like everybody's gonna like be able to have their own perspectives and their own ideas about it. And when you get into like the meetings and stuff, you really want to just like keep everybody on a level where they understand that the purpose of this is collective education. What you want to be able to do as facilitator is also prevent things from becoming a debate, because when it becomes a debate, that can in many ways just become very counterproductive, and then people suddenly don't want to show up next week because they leave with a bad taste in their mouth, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to be some kind of ruler, president, or leader. You kind of just want to be like, how the ancient Greek philosophers taught their students. He wasn't higher than them. He just kind of let his knowledge spill out onto them. And yeah, to stop debates, unhealthy debates, to where you can just tell by the subject matter of whatever they're dealing with is kind of not exactly on the point of progressive truth. It's kind of just like babbling about something a detail that doesn't matter. So,
yeah. And again, go ahead, Michelle.
I just want to say goodnight to everybody and respect to the people in the posses in the circle, and I love all y'all, and I'll see you in the future or in the astral in the lucid dream.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining, Michelle, and we'll definitely hear more about like your experience with like, I know we've talked about it before, but like you do like your sound healing ceremonies and kirtans and stuff like that. So look forward. Sacred space. So cool. All right. Good night, Michelle. Thanks again. Cool. Okay, so so just moving along here again, like with the discussion circles, they are very experimental. You want to be able to keep them open-ended yet still structured in a way that is going to allow conversation to flow. So if people are sort of like interjecting and talking over each other, you will have to decide at what point you're going to sort of step in and say like, guys, like let's make sure that we're respecting each other here for the sake of like the conversations unfolding and stuff like that. And so like even within like the hangouts here, like just when we want to be able to interject, like we'll just like hold our hand up to let each other know, and then like so within this, like this is a similar thing where I can help facilitate, and then when you guys have something to say, just like put your hand up or just like unmute your microphone, opposed to just like talking as the other person's talking. So just allow the person to finish their point, and then we can kind of like pass the talk and stick around. So it's very going back to like just like traditional, very tribal ways, and imagine having that talking stick as well. So well, it looks like Paul had to drop out as well. So again, there's a few other points I want to get into, and let's keep things streamlined. Like for this conversation here, we're not going to focus too much on talking too much metaphysical philosophy stuff per se. We're going to keep it focused on sort of the technical aspects of creating the paradigm shift community in the space and how to do that. We can definitely get into more of like the exploration of metaphysical topics within the team building hangouts, which is like what we have after this Thursday. Will be that Thursday. But yeah, Roman, you had your hand up. Did you want to add something still?
I forgot what it was. I just wanted to mention something earlier, but I forget what it was.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, even when we were talking about it earlier, like sort of like going back to like days of Aristotle and Socrates, a great way to facilitate a discussion is by asking a question. And it's not so much to get an answer, but it's through the process of asking a question that you allow people to begin to explore what it is that they think about something. This is again, we a lot of people don't have the experience talking about some of these metaphysical topics, so that can be something you can introduce into the group. You can say to the group, like, what do we as a group think about chakras, or what do we think about auras, or like what do we think about life after death? So again, these are the type of topics that you can introduce, and then from there you allow the popcorn to sort of go from that to this, and then if topics branch off, like that's okay. You can allow those topics to go, and then you can bring it back, and then throughout the meetings, you can always do like a short meditation, using the meditations as tools to center people into a place of calmness and into sort of a unified field. So it's not a bad idea to do a short meditation during the beginning, maybe halfway through, and then during, most definitely during the end, and sort of reflecting on your intentions as well. So there's a few other things that I want to get to, but at this point I just want to open it up to anybody that might have any questions or just like, again, further ideas related to the specifics of what we were talking. I just want to check, just before passing it off to Roman just right away, if Ashley, is there anything you have any thoughts on, just since you're new as well?
No, I think a lot of ideas have come through and just ways to like structure the meeting. I think it's been super helpful. And definitely, I actually did a little meditation at the beginning, but I guess if anyone has any thoughts on like types of meditation to do, I love practicing Kundalini, but I don't know if that's the best. And that's like what I'm most familiar with, but I don't know if that's the best way to start a meeting where everyone's going to be talking, because you kind of go so far up in your energy, you know? So like any tip on meditations or that would be super helpful.
Yeah, in relation to the meditations, the ones that we'll usually play around with in our groups, again, keeping it simple, like understanding that like some of the people coming into this may be brand new to some of these metaphysical topics. You may get some people who are like quote unquote experts, but really facilitating it to the comfort of the people who are new. So a simple meditation that I would suggest is just the practice of just simply having like practicing mindfulness by practicing keeping your focus on one place, and that place can be the breath. So literally just like introduce them to the meditation and say like, okay, for the next 10 minutes we're going to see how much we can keep our focus on our breath, understanding that the mind will wander, and this is part of the practice, is developing your relationship.
So that's simple, I think.
Very simple, very simple. But again, you know, like you can instruct them through the breathing, and you just say, you know, like allow yourself to relax, allow yourself to connect with your breath, bring them into the calmness of that present moment. And again, for some people, that may be something brand new to them. And then from like, so the mindfulness practice is one, and then from there, this is just an example, as things evolve within your community, you can begin doing like visualization journey meditation, similar to the global meditations that we do and the one that we have coming up this Sunday, where you can practice like getting into the 5 senses of your imagination. So you can say like, okay, let's imagine ourselves like on a beach, you know, like imagine the wind, imagine the texture, imagine the sand, imagine, you know, like bring in as many senses as you can. This is a fun way to do it. And then, so again, you can sort of like walk them up to a point, and then you can say, okay, from here on out, I'm going to stop talking, keep wandering the beach, and allow whatever comes to you to come to you. And then, so I mean, that's one way. And then again, you know, like another meditation can literally just be allowing them to get comfortable, allowing them to relax, and then not even saying you have to focus on your breathing, but just rather let them be in that space. And then a great tool for this is when you bring in singing bowls, because singing bowls will be able to like help keep them sort of in that space. So as a facilitator, if you can do your meditation while playing a singing bowl, that may be something that will take practice. But again, singing bowls are great, and especially for people who are new, that can be a very cool thing. And you can talk about how they can feel it, and if it's like attuned to a certain chakra, you can say, you know, like notice your third eye, you might like feel it, and just bring their attention to that. So yeah, those are just a couple examples of meditation, but Ashley, go ahead if you.
That's perfect, thank you. Yeah, or even doing something like going up the chakra systems, or playing binaural beats and doing really simple. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. The simpler the better.
Yeah, and if you're in a place that has like a speaker and a sound system, you can always like plug in a meditation audio track. That's always like another way to do it. Again, there's a lot of ways to play around with the meditation, and that's like, have fun with it too. Like that's the important thing. Don't get too caught up on it being a certain way. Like it's really just practice and stuff. And we've actually again, sort of going forward, another idea from meditation that you can do. This is like a little bit more advanced but still very effective. Is when you can say visualize like you as a group, like imagining like a toroidal field around the group. So imagining like a toroidal field, focusing on the visualization around yourself individually, and then around you as a group. And then you can say like, as we do our meditation, imagine like a bubble of light expanding from where we are, like as a breath in and out into our cities, sort of thing. And then in addition to this, you can also bring in mantras. You can bring in the ohms and stuff like that. So you can say, like, you know, near the end of the meditation, finish with 4 ohms. And that is, like, again, a very simple way to do it. Again, more advanced one would be to, like, imagine yourself visualizing, like, floating above the location where you are and, like, sending healing energy down onto your location. Again, similar to what we do in the global meditations. So those are a little bit more advanced, but they can also, like, don't shy away from doing them if everyone in the group is sort of interested in doing them, and you know, even inviting other people in the group to assist with the meditations. You know, maybe you'll do one at the beginning, but then maybe somebody else will do one at the end, and inviting people to have that opportunity to practice leading in meditation. And yeah, like, meditation is a very important part of the paradigm shift meetings, especially when they're doing it as a group, because a lot of people come to the meetings because they see meditation. They're like, open-minded discussion meditations is like, oh, like, I've always been really interested in meditation, but I've never meditated before. And then you can say, like, that's great, because doing it in a group can sometimes be very effective for people. It allows them to get into it, and they can actually sort of feel that presence of having that group do it. Like, that's feedback from people who have been in our communities. They'll tell me, like, you know, literally that. So yeah, Ashley, go ahead if there's...
That's perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. So again, you know, like, that's from what we've talked about so far. Like, the concept of the meetings are very simple, yet their simplicity allows you guys to get creative with them. So bring your topics into it, allow it to evolve. Different people are going to sort of bring in their own ideas. The most important thing, though, is to just maintain a degree of facilitation over the group. Otherwise, it can very easily just turn into a thing where people are talking over each other, and then they'll have, like, 2 conversations going at once. So, I mean, if that happens, if you have a singing bowl, maybe just ring the singing bowl, and then literally just use your voice, use your throat chakra, and just be like, okay, guys, like, let's just bring it back to center, and, you know, you can instruct them on what it is that you're going to do from there, and then you can put forward a question, and you can sort of go around. So again, you know, just really emphasizing that it's practice, it's a place to have fun, it's a place to explore, and yeah, it's a place to just sort of, like, allow what needs to happen. And, like, as things evolve, this is sort of foreshadowing, but, like, these paradigm shift meetings, we've had meetings where they can be very, very very emotionally, like, I don't just want to use the word heavy, but there have been meetings where some people have come in and they said, you know, like, they release things. They'll tell you about things. They'll be like, oh, you know, like this happened to me or something. And if that's the case, then you have to be ready to be able to hold space for those people as an individual and as a group. And if that's the case, like, hugs are an important part of the meeting. So end with hugs. One thing that we've even done in some group meetings is we'll, like, literally stand up and we'll like do, like, a group hug, or we'll do, like, a cinnamon roll, where, like, a cinnamon roll is when you have people in a line holding hands, and then from one end you just roll yourself in, so, like, everybody spirals in, and then from there you can do like, add a slight sway to it, so add, like, a breath to it, and then add a mantra to it, and then just sort of stay in that spot. And for some people that just may be, like, so bizarre to them, and they're just like, oh my god, like, I never thought I would do this. But again, the visceral experience from them is it's important for them. It can leave a lasting impression.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about.
Yeah.
I was actually just thinking about that. Like, I've been kind of just listening to everybody and writing down a bunch of stuff as we're going on. I've got this, like, a whole thing. I don't know if you guys ever seen a note set up like that before with the junk on the side here, but one of the things I just put, like, you know, I don't have a set up group yet, but this is really good because I'm actually creating the meetups right now. I'm actually getting ready to put in my card number and send out like $10 so I can get it rolling. Maybe get some people up for, like, next week or something. What was that, Ashley?
You'll be surprised at the amount of people that join, because what they do, I think, is they advertise it to other people in your area that are in similar meetups. So
I would hope so. That's really cool.
If you're using meetup.com, that's what you mean, Ashley? Yeah. So I've honestly never used meetup.com. I've never, like, fully had to use meetup.com. But again, you know, like, this is something where we'll get into, like, how do we promote these? How do we? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but this is one thing that I do want to do, and it's like $10 a month or $15 a month for like the super deals. I think 15 is probably what I'm going with. But like the people in my immediate area that I've talked to directly, sometimes it's kind of difficult to get like some of the people who, my friends who are like, yo, I'm on board with it, but it's how much are they actually going to come in and dedicate. So I'm going to go ahead and set this meetups online, and then so I can. The point is for me, I want to reach out to people I don't know. I want to start talking to new people. I want to see faces I haven't seen before, and I want to start touching lives that maybe needed a lot that I don't know. So I've got a thing here, and the way I'm going to see it is, I guess if we do get a bunch of people together, like you said, mindfulness, and try and get everyone to agree that no one here is exactly directly like leader or whatever, but there's a guy who's going to, keep things in line, like the grease thing, just like I'd be talking and spit my knowledge and then open it up, but I have to get but the first thing that I would want to do is just have people like a short little introduction to meditation, maybe a little clapping thing, get everyone to sort of just clap 3 times or twice, like do that 2 or 3 or 4 times, but everyone has to do it simultaneously, because that alone will get you on sync with each other. That'll start helping open people up to the idea of being one with the people around them, even if they don't know it. Because if you're sitting here and clap 3 times, and then the person next to you does it at the same time, that automatically kind of creates a little thing. I'll encourage people to bring drums, but I guess what would be going would be, if I were to have, like, let's say me and like 6 people were going to meet tomorrow for the first time. It would be, just a little discussion. I'd introduce them to what paradigm shift is and everything. Probably what I would tell them is some of the things I picked up from you. It's a youth-initiated program that it focuses on open-mindedness, healthy living, and the evolution of consciousness. The beginning short meditation probably would be a chant or some sort of singing, like get a song that everyone knows, and replace the initial beginning meditation with a song the first meeting to get people into the mindset of it. And then go to discussions about, and then we'll sort of just open it up and probably just do an introductory like we do every time we do here in this Google Hangouts, because that would probably be a really good thing to do. Later on I can get like a weekly aura cleansing thing to it, like initiate into it, so that like before we leave, everyone would go, like we would do like a healing ceremony where we would try and remove blockage from our energies and auras and blockage from our chakras, so that before they have to go back out in the world, they have that center and that mindness, and they can take that with them. And yeah, the create balance was the whole thing. Use clapping, drumming, or singing to get everyone in sync with each other. And the aura cleansing would be singing bowls and sage and incense and chakra charts, and using mantras. I'd probably get a couple different charts of some chakras and things. We'll start with the original 7, and then we can go to the whole 17, 13, 23 chakras type deal, because that'd probably just blow people's minds away at first. But no, that's excellent, man. That's excellent. I just picked up a whole lot of good stuff and ideas to get a circle going.
Cool. Yeah, and again, man, like, simple. Keep it simple. Like, especially when people are showing up the first time, like, keep it simple. And I mean, like, our goal with this is to be the bridge between higher dimensional ideas and the everyman and culture. Be that bridge. So, like, honestly, like, be mindful of like how you're talking about things when you're sort of promoting it as group activities. Like, don't just like, don't go too out there. Right. Don't get, like, literally just don't get too out there right away, but allow it to sort of like evolve naturally and everything. There's a few other things I was going to say, but Kyle, did you have a response to that? I think Roman had something to say as well.
Oh, no, I forget how these internet things work. When people's voices overlap, it just really sucks in audio terms. So I just kind of wanted to agree there. And like, the biggest thing ever, that as soon as you present information to someone and it's just slightly too much for them or it's a little too crazy for them, they'll never go back to it again.
Yeah.
Or they'll I've had the history of a couple, I think almost 7 years ago, I was introduced to not exactly this kind of stuff in meetups and communities or anything, but just the knowledge itself. And I completely had no idea what the dude was talking about.
Yeah.
And now I think I know more than that dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, the biggest thing is to put it out there in the same kind of terms as just something you want it to make common sense. You want it to be truthful in its own. You want it to present itself as if it's freeing people. You know, you're not like setting up this kindergarten like donuts with dad kind of meeting. You're setting up like there's this thing called Free Your Mind Conference, and that's a good conference that's held I don't think it's annually over in Philadelphia, but that's a good presentation of people who get together and they explain the how and the why of everything.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, and again, you know, just presenting it as information, like that's that within the paradigm shift community is always sort of been at the core. It's just like everything is information. Think for yourself, but at the same time, encouraging people to share their personal experiences. You know, like maybe somebody said you can ask that to the group. You can be like, hey, has anybody ever seen any UFOs? And then boom, conversation just naturally flows out of that concept. Or you know, like has anybody had any like out of body experiences? Boom, conversation comes out of that. Everybody's got experiences, so that can be a good topic for people to be able to roll upon instead of just being like, tell me exactly how this works. Instead, it's just like, tell me about your experience with this without, you know, like putting any expectations, but inviting them to share as well. And then even within the introductions, when you go around the circle for the first time, you can invite people to be like, you know, share your name or whatever name you want to go by, and then what are some of the things that you're interested in learning more about. And then so that is a good way to sort of take notes. So yeah, and that state the obvious, like as a facilitator, another thing that you should be doing is taking notes. So you sort of like writing things down as the meeting comes up, taking point form notes, and then who knows, those notes could even turn into a Facebook post the next day, or you know, a quest journal the next day where you're saying this is what we talked about, and you sort of have these point form notes, and you'll be surprised as to how quickly things will sort of like move through a variety of topics. So yeah, again, just emphasizing starting off, keeping it simple, keeping it fun, keeping it relaxed, inviting people to share and everything like that. When you start evolving the community meetings, you can get into some different ideas. For example, if you're starting off by doing it at a park, you can invite people to bring snacks. You can invite people to bring some light snacks, and then also invite them to bring some instruments or even some like toys, you know, some like hula hoops. So you can start off, you can have your meeting, you sit down, you do it, you finish your meditation, and then from there you like go into a drum circle. So like that is another way as to how you do your meetings. Another really key thing that I'll mention, a big part that makes these communities, these meetings successful, is to have consistency to them. So with the paradigm shift communities, like there was a time where, you know, like I was like delivering pamphlets all across the city and everything like that. And what made it work is that the pamphlets literally said every Friday. So it wasn't like one Friday and then, you know, if people missed it, they missed it. Instead, by having that constant like repetition of it, it has that open door where people can show up when the time is right for them. Because I guarantee you people will hear about it and they'll be like, whoa, I'm really interested in this, but I can't go this week. And then they'll be like, is it happening again? And be like, oh yes, thank goodness. And then they'll come out when they're able to come out. So so having the consistency with the meetings is really good. We do ours on Friday, like I said. Friday is a really good day. We do ours at like 6 p.m. And then after our meetings, we actually go out for a bite to eat. So we go out to like a shawarma restaurant. And this is a good way to help build community as well. When you have people eating, that is a great way to have community. And then that's where you can get into your part where everyone's just kind of talking amongst each other. And again, you know, this is about building a team. It is building a community and really understanding like what that can be, and understanding that it's like building the tribe and building the soul family. So I mean, you know, stepping back and looking at this bigger project, like really what it is. So like the people who are listening to this, like really take a moment to reflect and be like, why am I here? Why am I listening to this? Like, why am I interested in creating this community? That is because, you know, based on your own meditation, a part of you like consciously chose to come here to do this, if that is what feels right for you. And again, it's sort of that, like, this whole project began to me asking myself the question of how can I help change the world. And then, like, this was my answer. It was like to create meetups and to document it. That was it. And this is an extension of that we are seeing right now. So again, very, very simple, yet through that simplicity creates this beautiful dynamic story. So yeah, like, really, again, stepping back, like, you know, this is something that it's not for everyone, but those who hear the call, like, you have the potential to make a big difference in people's lives. And so, I mean, that is like the part that's really exciting, is like, as the paradigm shift communities evolve, you know, the first week may be slow, but that's an important thing, because you want to make sure that you don't get discouraged from it. And that will happen. There will be meetings where maybe like only 2 people show up. Yet even still, that may turn out to be an excellent conversation. And then next week, you know, 6 people, and then next week 12 people, and then suddenly, you know, these things are getting like really, really more like engaging and stuff. And then again, what actually happens out of that is that people start building connections, and then relationships start building, and people's lives literally change. You know, there have been
effect. The ripple effect happens.
Yeah, and so again, you know, with these meetups, it's not just like talking about stuff for the sake of talking about stuff. The underlying intention is self-empowerment. That is really what it's about. Like, I mean, for some of us here, we've become aware of, again, our multidimensional reality, the potential we have to create within this reality. And so that is something that, like, we're creating this space so that more people can allow themselves to find that, to help spark that spark within them. That is what you're doing. You're creating a safe space for them to, like, empower themselves, yet you are the person who is being a mirror for them to see that within themselves. So that is what the community is about. It's about mirrors upon mirrors, and the collective support that comes out of that, and the real world growth that comes out of that. And, you know, again, like, we've literally, you know, we've been doing the community in London for over 6 years. Like, I can't tell you how many meetings we've been doing. Like, it's, at this point, like, I've probably facilitated between like 700 meetings and 900 meetings. I'm not sure, like straight, or maybe not that much, but maybe so. I would probably say I've probably like facilitated probably around like 700 meetings, and then again, like, there's the online meetings and stuff as well. So it's something where, like, you'll develop confidence as you do it too, as a leader, and understanding, like, more about what a leader is, and understanding the difference. You know, you've probably seen memes on the internet of the difference between a leader and a boss. So a leader is someone that says, you know, like, let's do this together, whereas a boss says, go do this and everything.
Yeah, so, I saw that. I think if you've seen the picture, the boss at the desk pointing, and everyone's pulling the desk.
Yeah.
And then the leader in front pointing, and everyone's behind him pulling the rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, you know, like, you can do that. You can be that leader, but being a leader means you have to have humility. At some points, it means you have to be vulnerable, but at the same time, you have to be confident in yourself, and that is, like, where the universe responds to you when you're creating a paradigm shift community. Because again, if you build it, they will come. Synchronicity will bring these people together. The universe wants to evolve its consciousness. By creating the communities, you create a portal that has a gravitational pull, and the right people will find it at the right time. Now, from here, you can get into the idea of, like, how to accelerate the potential for people to find out about your meetings. And this is where you can get into the idea of doing free hugs and the shift buttons. So this is like an extra layer to the paradigm shift community that we encourage, that makes it additionally effective. So you guys have probably seen videos of what I do time and time again, where I'll go do free hugs downtown, and then every person who hugs me, I invite them out to our meetups, and I give them a button. So again, like, the button's got the website on them, and as the website upgrades, like, you guys will be literally able to hand someone a button, and you'll be able to say, like, you know, like, go to the website and then find our community on the website. So I'm going to tailor the website a little bit more, so, like, the website will be a tool for all of us to use, and you can literally say, you know, just go there, like, watch the first video, and then, like, look up, like, Delaware, look up Los Angeles, and they'll go on the map and they'll click it and that'll link them to your Facebook page and everything like that. So the free hugs thing, it is about compassion. It is about just like encouraging like that opening of the heart, and it is about the opportunity for synchronicity to occur where literally, like when I do free hugs, like a good 50% of the people who come up to me and hug me, I'll tell them about the meetings and they'll be like, whoa, like I'm totally interested in metaphysics and like I'm like a yoga teacher, or I'm studying chakras, or I just got my Reiki level 1 or something like that. And then they'll be like, yes, I'm totally interested in coming out. So had you not been there, they might not have found out about it until way later. Not to presume they wouldn't find out about it at all, but you're literally helping accelerate the rate at which connections occur within your community. So the free hugs thing is something that you can do by yourself. You can do it by yourself. And then even if you don't have the buttons, you can create your own pamphlets, and there are pamphlets that we have through the website, again, within the links in this under the admin support files. You can find the templates there, or send me a message and I can help create a file for you. So again, like with the combination of having your meeting already set up, having the location, and then doing free hugs, you can literally accelerate the creation of a paradigm shift community within 1 month in a super effective way. And that's kind of the idea of, within this bigger project, you guys have probably heard me talking about doing the Paradigm Shift Love Tour. And the idea behind this is to go to different cities to find, to connect with you guys first and foremost, but then to also work alongside you guys to be able to help kickstart Paradigm Shift communities. So, I might stay in an area for 2 weeks, and I'll say okay, Friday we're going to set our meeting. We've set it up, and by Monday and Tuesday we're already out there doing free hugs. And then, already doing that, and then you repeat that same pattern next week, and by the second week, you've already got 12 people at your meetings, and then all leave that city, but then the person who I was working with, they would continue to facilitate it as the admin. So that's a really exciting idea that we'll be getting to within the coming years and stuff. Kyle, go ahead. Did you want to?
Oh, yeah, I could throw a thought out there. I was just thinking, I was just listening, but I was thinking, I live right next, I'm very close to University of Delaware college campus.
Nice.
And it's a school of the arts. So there's tons of people that are probably already on this gig.
Yeah.
And maybe
not necessarily though. You'd have a hard time.
Brother, you would have to walk through Newark and you'd know what I'm talking about. You walk through Newark, Delaware, and you'll see it. You'll be like, "Oh, I gotcha. Here's a head shop. There's a head shop. There's a hippie. Here's a hippie.
A crystal shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're
kind of cool. So not
well,
exactly to that fullest extent, but there's people who come to University of Delaware from Maryland, PA, New York, from across the country, man. So they're going to be taking ideas with them, but. From the crowd in Newark, I don't think I'm going to have a very difficult time building it.
Yeah, and again, if you're doing free hugs, that's, you can, if you're doing
this in Newark doing free hugs.
Yeah, and just a heads up, if you're not a part of a school and you're doing free hugs on a campus, FYI, keep an eye open for security, because they can tell you to get off the property if they see you doing that, because technically it counts as soliciting, even though it's free hugs. So FYI, and honestly, that's I've done that though. I used to, the university that I graduated from, in September, I go back there and I do free hugs at the beginning of the year, and I intentionally do it with ninja mode activated, where I'm dodging security as I'm doing it. But the way how I do that, quite honestly, is a good tactic. You can either do it standing up with a free hug sign, and then you just have your paper, and then if you see security from a distance, you just fold it over and you just look like a student. So that's super simple. Another way to sort of play around with the free hugs is to sit down and to have art in front of you, and this is how I do it. And I'll be crystal wrapping and just literally working on stuff, and then I'll just have the free hug sign in front of me, and then I'll maybe have some crystals laid out on the ground with some art on the ground, so people can kind of walk up, they can look at stuff. There's some shift buttons sitting on the ground, and then they'll just be like, oh my god, what is this, free hugs, and they're like, yeah, cool, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, cool, here, have a button, and again, same pattern sort of repeats and stuff, but again, by sitting down and just being a little more casual, kind of makes you less of it makes it less obvious that you're doing free hugs while still being able to do free hugs. Yeah, so if you stand in one spot, that's always recommended with free hugs. You can walk around, but it's not totally needed. I mean, depending on where you are, there's a million and one ways to do free hugs, but standing in one spot is always effective. So you just find your location, and then again, you experience that. People will come to you, and then yeah, it's super effective. It's hacking the matrix. That's exactly what this is about. So
yeah.
Yeah.
What did Master have to say about the
Master
campuses, though? He was getting ready to say something about a campus, and then I kind of interrupted with, Newark's totally crazy.
Go ahead,
what
Roman.
Was he gonna say?
You got your mic muted, dude.
Yeah, you're muted, man. You're not talking right now.
All right, now I'm talking.
There you go.
I was gonna say, all I'm saying is you could get the Free Hugs T-shirt and just walk around with your hands up.
Yeah.
Hey, that's an idea.
But another thing is, I mean, there's a lot of spectrum and contrast when it comes to basically any institutionalized system of thought, which in spiritual terms we can all be happy and elated and kind of hide away for a little bit, put a little bit of knowledge out there, and basically all you're saying is good. It's just kind of, you have all you're basically saying is cultivate yourself, go out in the world and help cultivate everyone else, and whoever's ready for the information, give it to them, and whoever's not ready, at least present them with the opportunity or the experience of that, which is great. That's what I do, but I don't. We all do it in our own way.
Yeah. I've got to print out some of those. I got to print out some of those posters because.
Yeah, but the thing not to.
You're good, man. You're good.
Go ahead. Yeah, Roman. Go ahead.
But another thing you don't want to miss is just because someone's a hippie or they go to yoga class or they're involved in the New Age movement doesn't mean they actually understand truth and natural law as well as they should, because there's plenty of people out there who might even be involved in this community whose morals and definitions of truth just aren't in the right.
Yes, I have met many of those people in my time in going throughout different spiritual communities and talking with people, and you definitely come across those people, but you've got to weed them out. And giving a button to everybody and telling everyone to go to the website is still something you got to do. So whether or not you run into them, you kind of still have to be like, hey, go ahead, check it out. But you don't want, at the same time,
plant the seed.
You don't really want to let them get inflated like a big balloon, like big head, like, oh, I'm big spirit master guy, man. I run into a lot of those people who are like, no, dude, chakras, bro. It's all in here, and it's like, dude,
but
what's going on.
There's way more to the ancient knowledge than just kind of propagating it like some kind of alternative culture. Like the truth is for everyone,
and I feel like that's what a larger portion of this project is about. And like what Brendon said, the underlying tone is self-empowerment, and if you want to reach out to people. Yeah, like exactly, like for my life, dude, my passion, my interest, my imagination, like most of my thought process has been into existence, my own existence. It starts with questioning your own existence. Why am I here? And then going even further and saying, why do I have the conscious ability to question the fact of my own existence? Why can I question myself, questioning the existence of myself?
You could be like a 4-year-old constantly asking why, and you end up as like an anarchical spiritualist.
That is what opened the doors for me, is questioning my ability to question. And after that comes understanding. But you have to let yourself be settled to get that understanding.
Yeah. Guys, I was just going to say, I'm not sure if Ashley had a point. I just want to give her a chance.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen.
No, it's okay.
I was just going to say, just be the light, and the more so that you can just be the best person that you are and just shine in your own most unique, true way, the more people are going to just feel that vibration, feel that energy off of you, and to just be the example that you would want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like a big part of this project, like I just encourage you guys is like really like remaining humble and leading by example, yet like only doing it, like you do it for you, and then knowing that it will change other people. Like there's yeah, like it doesn't have to be like this super heady thing, and like that's not what this community is about. It's again, it's about like keeping things grounded. You know, like if you looked at the paradigm shift, like there's a lot of association with the color red. A lot of people will associate with that with like root chakra, and like that's like a big part of this. It's taking some like high up concepts, but it's bringing it down to the root. It's making it grounded. It's making it accessible. And like you said, Kyle, like, you know, it's just like being able to give people that option to be involved, at least just inviting them to be involved, you know, planting that seed to be able to just get connected and stuff like that. So,
and who knows, even through doing that, you could bring some of those people who have that giant ego, that big inflated head of theirs, you might even bring them back down to being a very humble person and having a greater understanding. You might be that. You might be that.
Yeah, and you gotta have non-judgment too. Like that's the thing, right? Like you don't want to say like, oh, like you can't, you know, like be involved and stuff like that. But
a big thing that I've been very much so holding in and telling everybody that I'm telling about Paradigm Shift. I've told them, dude, we're not here to judge you. We're not here to tell you that you are wrong. We're here to help you realize that everything says one thing, and that we are all one consciousness. And once you get into that energy and you start letting it flow and channel, it doesn't stop, man. We've changed in the past 2 weeks. My life has been so much better.
Yeah, but even that, you know, like even that, like it's you can share that as your perspective, but let them come to that realization on their own. You know, like that again. You like that's
all you can do is plant the seed.
Yeah, like Paradigm Shift isn't this thing where it's just like a bunch of people who believe they're all one. It's like not necessarily. It's a bunch of people who are exploring conscious ideas, and because that's the thing. Like some people may legitimately have a different perspective on that, and we have to honor that. Like we're all different. We're all on a wheel looking inwards, and each one of us has a unique point of view, a unique point of view. So you really want to be able to like just like honor that. And again, so like as a leader, you just got to be very mindful of how you're presenting information, because some people can be triggered by the idea of just being like, whoa, this sounds like a cult. You know, like it like honestly, like Paradigm Shift like has like the very depending on like how people look at it and stuff like that, it's not impossible for people to think like, ooh, this is similar to a cult and stuff like that. So just be mindful that that's ground you're treading, and how do you keep it like accessible? How do you keep it normal? Like literally, you know, it's just open-minded discussion and meditation. That's it. Period. You know, what happens in there is different every week. So
there's no lock-on of initiation.
Yeah.
But
that's
then, what makes us not a cult. We don't have that.
But you know what? Like honestly though, like within some Paradigm Shift communities, you may find that there are specific people that are like, hey, you know what? Like I'm interested in exploring like lucid dreaming or meditation a little bit deeper, and then you may actually have like a subgroup within your community that's actually like a little bit more focused towards a particular topic. And then again, you know, like within the community, this is like again, the meetings can vary. You can have other events. You can have like drum circles. You can have crystal wrapping workshops. You can have the Jedi Training Academy, which is, you know, something I've mentioned to you guys in the past. And basically, that's combining metaphysical discussion with exercise under the umbrella of the concept of the Jedi. And that's something where I just recently started doing because I was inspired to do so, and I've been doing it for about 3 weeks now. And basically, like we come out, we sit down, we talk about what it means to be a Jedi, we talk about the Force, we have some discussion, we do a small meditation, then we do standing meditation, get ourselves like aware of our energies, and then from there we basically move into a series of circuit training with like specific sort of cognitive training reflexes, and that's something I'll explain to you guys more. I'm going to be doing like a quest journal in a video to show you guys like specific exercises that you can do. So then like you're literally like working up a sweat. Like some of the simple ones is literally just with a tennis ball. Like stand there with another person and throw a tennis ball back and forth. That's a cognitive training ability. And then you can like do all sorts of other things. Another simple one is having peace sticks. Peace sticks is just like literally like a stick that's about like, you know, 1.5 feet long, and you have 2 of them, and you're passing it back and forth between 2 people. So it's again about developing like communication beyond words and sort of foresight in that way. So then you do this, and then you do that for like however long, and then you end up finishing with a closing meditation at the end. So again, it's like a Paradigm Shift meeting combined with physical exercise, but we're calling it Jedi Training Academy, but it's still something that you can associate with your paradigm shift community. So again, it's just another idea of what you can do. And then, you know, this is something where actually I want to be able to just hear what Ashley has to say on this, because, you know, there's other communities out there and they're doing meetings that well, I'll even just say stepping back, you know, like Brianna, she hosts meetings where they do full moon meditations. So as to how we do ours online within the digital verse, she invites people to have full moon meditations as a physical meeting, and then that's something that they do. So like her paradigm shift meetings may only be once a month, but they're on the full moon and they're in meditation, and they invite people out and they still have discussion. What I was going to say though, relative to something Ashley mentioned earlier, there's other community groups out there. One of them is Cosmic Consciousness, previously known as California Consciousness, and basically they promote like big events. They have like sort of like a day at a park where they'll actually have like various speakers and different musicians and different yoga and sound healing and everything, and it's very big. And part of the reason like they're able to do that is also because like their network is quite established through Instagram. They have a decent reach with their audience, and California is like ripe with shifty people, like definitely. So I mean, yeah, like I was just gonna ask Ashley, like kind of what you might have learned from that type of a bigger event type conscious meetup, just knowing that like that is an option, and that's something I actually want to be able to explore more within our communities, is just kind of like being able to have like almost like a mini festival in a park for a day, and we have done that in the past actually. But yeah, go ahead Ashley if you want to share any insight you've gained from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool because you can kind of see the energy and feel it of all the people down here that are coming together. And I think a lot of what they do that really helps is they bring out vendors, they bring out people. They have a whole lineup of events. Like I know they'll have Kundalini yoga, they'll have different meditations of things that people do. I know my Reiki teacher goes and gives free Reiki the whole day, like. And it's this group of people, and it's amazing. They just all wanted to help in the shift, and like all came together, and they all kind of play a different part in it. And yeah, and it's that thing too. It's where if you build it, they will come. So I think that just the only thing that's stopping this from happening in other places is just groups of people need to come together and start to build them, right? And then just the marketing for it online. I think a lot of how they built their traction was through Instagram and the big following that they have there. And, you know, it's not impossible for anyone else to do it. We just got to start building up these little communities all across the world, hopefully. But it's an amazing experience. It's like going there and just the energy, man. It's like a trip. And at the end, we all like sing, and it was great. I've been to one of the smaller events, the 11/11 event last year, which was really cool. But I actually missed the one that was down here in LA, and it got pretty big. There was like probably hundreds of people there. But yeah, again, it's the whole concept of if you build it, they will come, and we need to start building more of these bigger communities around and just marketing them. And I really think that that's going to start to take off.
For sure. Yeah, so I mean, again, you know, like what they're doing is a great example of the potential that anybody can do. And I think, you know, like depending where you are, you're gonna run into like different challenges within your community. You know, some communities may like start off really small and really slow, but again, it's the consistency that allows it to grow. And then you have to get creative with how you're promoting it. So, you know, like using the social media and the social network, that's something we can talk a little bit about more. Like, because I mean, Facebook isn't necessarily the best thing to use anymore. It doesn't really work in the same way it used to. It's actually incredibly challenging. So, I mean, Instagram could be another medium, and then if you're like using meetup.com, that's another thing. But really focusing on like the physical posters, never forgetting how much the physical posters make a difference. And again, like literally the one-to-one communication is always super effective. So whether that's the free hugs or whether it's literally just like calling your friend up and talking to them or messaging them online and just be like, hey, I just want to let you know we're having this meetup, you know, please feel free to join. And then just having that personal invitation is something that can definitely make a big difference. So I mean, you know, again, like with the paradigm shift communities, like literally, like when I created this project, like I know that I can see it for its potential, and the potential is that every single person who tunes into to our project, to our broadcast, has the potential to be an admin where they are. So again, for the people listening to this, you have the potential to create a physical paradigm shift community where you are. It's simply a choice. You do not need our permission. It's a choice. Ashley, go ahead. You want to?
I was just going to give some encouragement. Like, I never would have thought that I would have the guts to start a meetup. Never. And seriously, anyone can do it. Like, I used to be super, super shy. Like, anyone can do it. I don't want to stress that enough. Like, you have to take the leap. And once you do, it's crazy how the universe really does help you. And after your first one, too, you'll just get this confidence up. And I really think that everyone should try it at least once. If this is something that even like resonates with you on a small level, there's a reason. Like just do it.
Yeah, but the universe will ask some wonderful things of us. Sorry guys, I was just going to say, acknowledging that on my clock right now, it's 11:11, so I was going to like sync up with that and just kind of take. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed it by a millisecond on my clock.
But yeah, again, so like 11:11, like moving through that gate with the intention, and we'll do like a short like breathing meditation here, and then we'll actually get close to wrapping this broadcast up, probably more than another half hour. But again, the admin meetings, we're doing these once a month, and then after this we have our regular team building meetings, and those are kind of like digital versions of paradigm shift meetings, and we focus on a variety of things, including the media creation as well. But again, I just wanted to say like what I've experienced from the paradigm shift communities, from what I've been hosting, and in addition to the empowerment, is also like when people come to the paradigm shift community, it can be a very healing thing for them, and it can leave them feeling boosted, like literally boosted. It leaves them feeling inspired, because for some people, they may work, like some regular like job that they're not very happy with, and then when they come to a paradigm shift meeting, like that is their bread and butter. Like that's where they want to be and stuff like that. So when they leave, like the energy of that meetup fills their spirit. It has the potential to. So as a facilitator, you want to be mindful of that, of how can you make this experience like beneficial and enriching and energizing for the people, so that when they leave, they take that inspiration with them out into the world around them, knowing that like, yes, like we're in a room together and we're talking about things, but knowing that it does create the ripple effect out into our communities, and it does change our communities just by encouraging people to be more mindful, and for people to be more sovereign, and for people to be more conscious, and then again they start getting inspired to explore more topics and to change some of their habits, and the ripple effects will go beyond what you can actually see. But just because you can't see them doesn't mean that they're not happening. So again, just reminding you that the meetings can be a very, like, it's a spiritual boost point for people. They come there and they get recharged, and that's something that I've experienced and other people have talked about. So that is just another reason for why you want to be able to do these.
Yeah.
Go ahead, or Kyle, Ashley, one of you guys.
Yeah, I had something to totally comment on, but I think it kind of slipped. What was it? I don't know. I guess I'll go with this one. What Ashley was saying earlier, and what you were saying, how it should be an enriching experience. By the time they leave, they should be, wow, that was awesome. This is amazing. People should feel happy. They should feel healthier. What I was going to say is be like a tuning fork, be like a giant tuning fork. If you have, this goes to what Ashley was saying, if you resonate, if you radiate that light and that love, if you have tapped into that consciousness, that energy that we all share, you let it flow and just keep letting it go out and out and out, that's an infinite abundance of it. There's no reason to hold it. You let it go.
Yeah.
Like a tidal wave, So when people come, the idea is even if they don't know, and I think this is what I was getting at when you were talking, Brendon, what I wanted to interject on, what I was going to say is be that beacon, be that light, be such a strong and powerful flow of that energy. So just by that person standing in your presence, they are being healed, they are being affected in positive ways, and they are being open to the realism of this shared dream reality that we all exist in, that we all create simultaneously. So the same thing as the tuning fork idea, it's hand in hand, you know. By being that light and resonating and radiating, they pick up on it, and that just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, you guys again. You know, like you guys get it. Like, I mean, I could explain it to you, but I know you guys get it. So
we could explain it for days on end. We can just keep having the same conversation. It's all in a pleasing circle. But like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, and the universe, whatever you want to call it, but the universe rewards those with courage, courageous behavior. I mean, you could commune a church of Satan and people would come to it, but it's what you're presenting and how you're presenting it and teaching it to people.
Yeah, you
gotta have your knowledge on point.
Yeah,
because with the whole full moon meditation and crystals and all that, seems kind of like I'm not making like a presumptuous preperceptive bias, but I'm not too educated on those things completely yet. I'd like to know, I'd like a simple introductory breakdown of like the sciences of that and how it coincides with the whole one energy kind of thing, and figure out what everyone means by the whole energy fields this, energy fields that. I have kind of an acquaintance with it, but meditating can just be as simple as like zoning out for a couple seconds, thinking about something. Meditation could be you're watching something, or you're listening to something, or reading something, and all of a sudden it clicks and it makes sense to you. I mean, in thelema is Greek for will, like enacting an action.
Mm-hmm.
In that philosophical religion, Aleister Crowley explains that magic with a K at the end is simply knowing and doing an action in the world and enacting this type of change, like natural law, which is just moral, immoral action. Doing a moral action causes these cause and effect consequences to occur and all of that. So all it really is the law, man.
Fantastic.
But people kind of get and then people get caught up in. There's people that get caught up in that whole like they get caught up in it like a religion. Like they only go to community meetings of that nature, and in terms of letting everyone else know, they kind of have like a superiority complex. Because I've seen that a lot of people in thelemic groups kind of bounce off of occult groups, which they themselves have a superiority complex because they're like, oh, I know this. And you don't know it. I'm better.
Yeah.
The point is to share the knowledge. Share the knowledge. Let everybody have some.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you know, like as an admin, like you have to honor the idea that you don't know everything and that you yourself are learning through this process of facilitating. So like that's something that you can look forward to. Is just like how will creating a paradigm shift community help you grow as an individual so that you can be of service to others even more effectively. So I mean, there's more stuff that I do want to talk about within this, and we'll get more into it on future meetings. I just want to say a couple things, you know, for people who are interested in being a part of this and for creating a paradigm shift community, and maybe you're brand new to this, you can go to the website, and then within the links there, even under the tools, you can see that there's a community index, and you can go and you can see if there's a paradigm shift community already where you are, and if not, you can go to admin sign up, and I'm going to add a form for that within the next 24 hours, and it'll just be a simple form that just says like add your name and stuff and your location and your Facebook page if you have it, and you can sign up for that, and that will just give me a reference, and I'll be able to message you, or just message me on Facebook and stuff. And then again, you know, you can begin the process simply by step 1, find a location to have your meetings. Step 2, promote them. Step 3, do them. Step 4, repeat. And like literally, like that's it. And then, you know, you can bring in the details and stuff beyond that and everything. I just want to say, you know, another important thing for the admins to keep in mind is the role of social media, is the role role of creating videos, and this is something that, within the whole Paradigm Shift Community Project, we're really encouraging people to document the shift from where they are. So even if you're making videos about your personal journey, that can be a very empowering thing for other people in your community to see. It may not be specifically about the Paradigm Shift meetup, but simply by them seeing, be like, oh, this person's putting them stuff out there and they're talking about spiritual topics, like this encourages me to be more open about exploring these topics myself and being myself and everything like that. So understand that, like, conscious media can play a very important role within the ongoing growth of your community. So just encouraging you guys to do that part too. And so again, like, if you're thinking about creating a Paradigm Shift community, there's more information within the website. If you go to learning modules, and then you can go to community startup guide, or right within like the main heads up display on the website, like the main menu thing, you'll see a button that says community startup guide. I encourage you to go there and to read that as well. And then the next simple steps would be to create a Facebook page for it. And then Facebook, unfortunately, it isn't the best thing anymore. It's actually been like a very interesting thing, because this is a little bit of a story of like how this project has shifted and stuff over the years. It's gone through chapters, it's gone through waves, and like I said, like on paper there are 50 Paradigm Shift communities. That means that there are over 50 different groups on Facebook, but truth be told, not all of them have continued. Some people have started them and then they walk away from them, and then some people, like some of them are actually like have evolved into something more. Like Paradigm Shift South Africa and Cape Town, they have like really big events, and they do like full moon meditations on the beach, and they get like hundreds of people out. And so I mean, that's like a huge inspiration. Whereas like with us, we do our regular meetings once a week, and then other people might have like different types of meetings and stuff like that. So I mean, at this point in the project, since this is sort of like the relaunch, this is going to be like a new wave of like being able to keep track of the communities. And one thing within the website that we'll be getting more to within the next month, and even by the next admin meeting, is that I want to be able to begin using the groups feature within our social media website, within ParadigmShiftCentral.com, where we'll actually be able to have the individual Paradigm Shift communities with their individual groups through the website. So yes, you will still have a Facebook page, but then you'll also have a group within the website. That's like its own thing. So if you haven't yet, you can
map where you could like click on your area and you zoom in and like click on Delaware and go through Wilmington, Newark, Delaware. That would be cool.
Yeah, because there is the team map already, and again, like I'll just show you guys real quick, just with screen share for those of you who are watching the Hangout. So I mean, this is the team map right here, so you guys will be able to just see me as I'm scrolling down to it. Looks like my browser's just a little slow. So again, this is something that I'm going to be updating in the near future. So on the left-hand side, you can see there's a tab that says Shifters. So again, for people who listen to the audio of this on the main website, you can go up to the top of the menu, and it says Team Map. There's like a little circle, like that circle right there, team map. This is going to be a huge tool for us to use in the future. So like from here, this is a visual database for us to see where everyone is. So this is everyone who signed up for the website. So if you haven't signed up for the website, you can do that, and I'm going to include you in the map so that everybody will be able to have their data. And then from there, you can click on each person, and it will show you information about them, and it will show you their astrological signs, and this is where you get into the gamification of things. It will show you like what they're interested in. It will show you their archetype patterns, and it will show you their skills and their gifts, and also like in addition to this, what we're going to do is we're going to have individual shift communities with their own features as well. So here's one as an example for Paradigm Shift Adelaide, Australia. So from this will link into their Facebook, and then from there it will also link into the group within the main website. So this is something that is going to be becoming more active as we go. So you can see here, this is Paradigm Shift London. Right here that we have on the map, and then even within here I have the information for my meetup accessible from that. So like that's something that I literally have to manually add all of this, but as we do it in the future, it'll become like an incredibly valuable tool, especially when we're traveling, when any of us are traveling. Like obviously when I'm doing the Paradigm Shift Love Tour and when I'm meeting up with you guys. But like anybody can like use this. So like look, there's Sam from Haven for Humanity. So you guys have probably like heard Sam on the past, and then from there, you know, I got a link to his Facebook, and for him, it's not linked right into the Haven for Humanity site just yet, and also it goes into their profile. So again, like I'm going to click that, and then that's going to take me to the profile within the main website, and then like through there you can see his quest journals down here and things like that. So the global map is an incredibly important tool that we're going to be utilizing in the future. Just being able to manage all the data of the Paradigm Shift communities is a very important part of this, and that's just something that I ask you guys to be patient with. But in the meantime, you don't need to wait for me to get started. Like you can get started. You can create your Facebook page. Again, you know, if you go up to here, you can see the for community startup guide. And then from there, like that's going to give you some more information. And like we've done other broadcasts in the past that have been specifically about creating paradigm shift communities, and even though like this recording is probably from like 2014, it's still relative. And then from there, like yeah, there's various broadcasts that we've done over the years, and then from here it's just got some like basic information. So there's like a picture of what one of the Paradigm Shift London meetings look like, and then there's videos here of examples of what happens in the meetings. So these are like little like short videos that we do, and then oh look, there's the admin meetings. So the last admin meeting, actually I just kind of want to check this because I'm curious. The last admin meeting was 2013. My God, look how long my hair is.
That's 3 years ago, man.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So I mean the project's been busy, and just with the way that things were shifting, we just didn't fully get back into the admin meetings. So like this is, like I said, this is like a new chapter. This is like us kind of starting fresh. And like that is like a very interesting thing because, you know, like over when I started this project in 2009, like I built it up. It kind of like got to a point. There's like 50 paradigm shift pages. Facebook started changing its algorithms. People went in different places. People lost contact. And then now we're like almost in a way, we're like kind of like starting anew. And so that's where like this is an invitation for the people listening to this to like be involved with this, to be a part of this, and then knowing that the other exciting thing with the paradigm shift communities is that when you create them, you have the potential to create something that's going to last beyond your involvement. So like with Paradigm Shift London, it will happen even without me being there. If I'm like out of town, it will still happen because other people know how to facilitate it. If I move out of the city, it will still happen because people will be able to continue it without me. And that's the idea of like the simplicity is like what makes it so potent. So yeah, so stay tuned for more updates on like how we'll be able to manage and organize the different communities and stuff. And so like again, I'm just going to show you guys. So up in tools, up in the top, I'm just going to switch over to screen share again real quick. I'm going to show you like the list if you guys haven't seen this part yet. So up in tools, up at the top, community index, and then from here, like this is the original list of the paradigm shift communities. So it's just got like some of the videos there. So like this of at one point, like these are all Facebook pages. Now again, like these, a large amount of these people are still people that we're in touch with. Maybe they haven't been as active. Maybe you know they've just like gone on their ways and stuff like that. But this is just an example of like what things look like, and like again, you know, it's like for people who are interested in starting a paradigm shift community, I suggest going through here first, seeing if there's one already in your area. So you can see like our project reaches over into Europe. So you got Liverpool, UK, Heathrow, UK. So that's Paul's Facebook group right there. And then again, you know, like as an example, Cordoba, Argentina. Like honestly, like that's the thing. Like I am not capable of keeping track of every single community all the time. So like some of them come and some of them go. This is Cordoba, and let's see. Like we're just gonna check when their last post was. The one at the top that's pinned is 2015. Just waiting for Facebook to go. There we go. 1 second, guys. It's just scrolling down. Go.
Too many tabs.
Yeah, I know.
Bro.
Come on, internet. You can just.
I have a question.
Okay, so yeah, so Cordoba, 2015. So so yeah, they have not been active since 2015. So, but it looks like they like had like an event that was like a meditation event or something like that. So, part of my role as like director of this whole project is every now and then to try and reach out to these people and to just like check in with them and to see if they're still active and stuff like that. So again, like that's just part of the reality of managing a project on this scale. Like it's no one's ever done anything like this before, but that's like what makes it so exciting, and that's like why this is like worth doing, sort of thing. You know, we're shooting for the moon here. And if we miss, we'll land among the stars. So, Ashley, you had a question. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, like, how often do you suggest meeting?
Like with meetups groups, I mean, we meet up once a week with ours, and if that's something that you guys can manage, then I recommend it. You know, maybe to start off, it'll maybe be once a month, maybe it'll be every 2 weeks, but eventually, because of the fact that it's so simple, it's something that you can literally have once a week. So, like with ours at the yoga studio, like. We are fortunate enough that the lady there, she lets us have that space for free, but we still like donate money to her every now and then. And then when people are at the meeting, generally like we'll say like, you know, if anybody has any money to donate for the space, please do, and then we pass that over to the owner. But she supports it because she just sees like what it's doing for the community. And again, you know, just when people are approaching yoga studios, like I encourage you to do this. Like go to a yoga studio, because I guarantee you they probably have like an hour at some point in the week where nobody's using the room, or a couple hours. And just tell them what you're doing. Tell them it's about building community. Tell them it's about creating open-mindedness, and just say, you know, like I'm doing this for free. Like I'm doing this as a hobby. And like, is this something you'd be interested in supporting? And you may be surprised. They may be like, oh, that sounds like a really cool idea. Like, yeah, you can come. You can use the space. Like that is exactly how it happened for us. And if they're a person who owns a yoga studio, then you know it's very likely that they're going to be open to that idea as well. And if that's the case, then that allows the potential for it to be like a weekly thing, because you don't have to like manage it in the same way. You know that space is always there, and then people know it's there, and then you promote it through the Facebook page or whatever else you're using just as a reminder. And then every week they come out, and again, you know, some days there's like 5 people, some days there's 30 people. It really depends, and it depends on the time of year as well. So yeah. Ashley, was there anything else you had a question about or anything like that? No. Okay, cool.
I actually had a question for Ashley about the meetups, because you're familiar with the meetups, right?
Yeah.
Meetups.com?
Yeah, the meetups.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just messing around on there. I've been messing around there a little bit throughout this whole thing, trying to get my thing set up now. If I were to go ahead and start that right now, I'm debating on doing it now or waiting till tomorrow morning to go ahead and get it going.
Do you have
you should do it. You should do it now, so that if you get any notifications tomorrow morning.
Do you have your time in place for your meeting yet? Have you got that figured out?
That's the only thing. I got a place.
You don't have to. You don't even have to have a time or a place for your first meeting when you just start it. I actually suggest waiting maybe like a day, because what they'll do is they'll email all of the people that are in similar groups to yours in the area. So that's how I was shocked. I remember I set it all up. I was like, oh, I'll work on marketing this later on. And I came back like later the next day, and I looked at my email, and it was like, you have 90 new members. I was like, whoa. Wow. It was crazy. So,
wow. And that's with that, and you didn't have a location or a time or anything.
I didn't do anything. I didn't even have a meetup set, and that was like the encouragement of like, okay, now I need to be doing this. And I was actually going to bring this up too. What do you think? I mean, mine was I named it Starseeds and Lightworkers because those are the names that like resonated with me, and it's what I'm interested in discussing. But
great name, it really is.
But do you suggest that I change mine to like Paradigm Shift?
I mean, I'll just answer this real quick. But I mean, yeah. So again, you know, like that's something that you can play around with. But you're right though. Like calling something Starseeds and Lightworkers will attract a very specific audience, yet at the same time ostracize a large amount of other people. So that's something that you kind of have to play with. Paradigm shift is something that it came to me as it's like the most accessible term. And so, I mean, again, you know, like with people listening to this, if you're creating a meetup and everything, go with what feels right, but I really encourage you to call it a paradigm shift, because like then, you know, like I'll totally like add it into the website, and even if, you know, I can still add your stuff into the website, but even from there, it sort of creates this collective story. You know, you're a part of a team, and you can even explain to people when they come out. You can say like, you know, like, oh, like we're Paradigm Shift here, but just so you guys know, like we're actually like there's Paradigm Shift communities all across the globe, and to them, like that actually like adds another layer to what it is that they're a part of. They're just like, whoa,
makes
like
it
really,
more,
like that's really cool.
makes it
you
more
know?
trustworthy.
Yeah, I want it to be open. I guess I just was trying to think of a cool name and.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, like I think both work, and it may just be something where like started off with what your intuition was saying, and maybe talk to the group about it, maybe see like what happens. But I mean, yeah, like it's something that you can play around with. Like Paradigm Shift is something that I know works, and again, it's just the goal is just trying to make it as like accessible to people. But again, maybe you want to do a meeting that's specifically tailored to starseeds and light workers, and that's okay. You know, that's still important. So yeah, like there's a bunch of ways to sort of do it. So yeah.
My Facebook page is called Veritas Libertatum, which is Latin for truth of reality, real truth. It's kind of just like a statement.
Mm-hmm.
So I may or may not convert that into a Paradigm Shift subsector, but you know, I'll think about it. As long as it's perpetuating information, and I don't know when we're gonna sign off here, but I just want to include a few website names, if that's okay, to kind of expand the knowledge a little more. I remember I recommended to you when you were live once. I don't remember when, but it's whatonearthishappening.com, and you can find your own way through there. Kind of a self-explanatory website, and also a man by the name of Michael Tessarion, if anyone's ever heard of him.
I know him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's
totally listening to way back in the day. Yeah.
I don't know what levels we're all on here. They're relatively new to me. I've only known about Michael and Mark Passio and everyone in that research of circle for not even a year now. So yeah, maybe hopefully next talk. This is more of an admin meeting, kind of settling in on how to create communities, how to perpetuate them, how to make it all work, and all of that, which we clearly talked about. But hopefully next time we can actually delve into subjects, and maybe you guys can teach me some stuff I don't know. And
for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I've got
definitely.
mine's just Paradigm Shift Delaware.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean you're right. Like this is the team building hangouts are definitely more like open ended, and where we can kind of just shoot the shift. So
everyone needs to get familiar with those names too. Like I'm so glad you guys know who they are, because that
Michael Tessarion, yeah, he's great. Cool. I just want to thanks again, Roman, for bringing those up. And if you want to post the links for those in the chat, just feel free to do that. And
that's
copy those in. I was just going to say, like, even though we're getting close to the meeting, I just want to acknowledge we got a couple new players who have joined the Hangout. One of them is Maria, and I believe Maria may just be here to listen. But Maria, if you wanted to say hi, please feel free to unmute yourself and say hello if there's anything you want to share. Anything? I'm wondering if this is the same Maria who was in our dream class a few weeks ago, but she may or may not be there, so I'm not sure. And then other than that, I also want to welcome Liam. Liam, welcome to the hangout that we got going on, man. Good to see you in here. If you want to, do you got your mic on? Do you want to test your mic? If you want to go ahead, give him a minute. Cool. Liam is in New Zealand, I believe. That's correct. You're in New Zealand? Is that correct, Liam? Oh, I think he's okay. He's fixing stuff in. So yeah. So again, like that's the exciting thing about this project, is that we literally have people from all across the world. It is a global team of shifters, and again, through the support of you guys and the support of the community, like this is something that this is what I came here to do, to be able to help like captain this concept, to be able to help steer this ship, to be able to help do it in a way that is going to allow all of us to become captains of our own ships. And like that's really like the idea here, that like captains amongst captains is a term that I want you guys to keep in mind. So I mean, like we're talking here, like I might be helping facilitate this, but then you guys like take these ideas and you captain your own community sort of thing. And like that's like a very, very powerful thing. And then, like think about where that may be in a few years from now. Because like if you're doing a paradigm shift community, like maybe if you just want to try it, see if it works, that's cool. But I really encourage you to, if you're like really looking to see what will come out of this, try like committing to it for like the idea of it being a long-term thing. But maybe that long-term thing maybe will be like like 4 months, 5 months or whatever. Just play around with it, feel what's right. But knowing, for me personally, like when I started it, like I started it with the idea of it being a long-term thing, and it was the consistency that has allowed it to grow. Because there, like I said, there were times where like it's like not many people show up, but I never took it personally. I'm just like, okay, that's just where the stars are at this point. I don't think there was ever a meeting where it was literally just me. There was always meetings where there was at least one other person. And again, even when it was one person, those turned out to be like awesome conversations and everything like that. So and again, like stepping back, like why are we doing this? We're doing this to literally be able to help people. So I mean, if you can help one person, that makes it worth it. In my mind, like that makes it worth it. So I mean, like being very altruistic as to why you're doing this. Like you're not doing it for the attention. You're not doing it for whatever fame you feel you might, just anything related to that. Like you're doing it for community, and you're doing it for like the bigger story and the shift in consciousness and potentially the generations to follow sort of thing. So
do it to be happy.
Dude, yeah, and because it's exciting too. Like seriously, this is exciting. Like it's not something for everyone, but for those who hear the call, like it is a very exciting thing. And again, like within the real world game of things, like I really want you guys to sort of play with that. Like that is your way to play the game. Your way to play the game is to build your community. So you can go into your day and say you already have your meeting set up, and you'd be like, all right, like let's see how many people I can invite out to the meetings, and then like that is your game to get creative as to how you can start building community. And maybe it's like talking to someone at work, maybe it's talking to someone at a bus, and just by having that idea, it invites you to get out of your shell, and again to get creative as to like how you can connect with people. And again, especially once you guys get the shift buttons and stuff like that, when you sign up for like the team Patreon, and that's how we're sending them out, and you guys know that, and I'll tell you more about later and stuff. But again, like having those shift buttons on you like really makes it very, very much a real life game, because you're just like planting those seeds all over the place. Ashley, do you want to?
Yeah, I have to dip out here soon, but I just wanted to say thank you so much. I've learned a lot, and I love the community you guys are building here. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Awesome, thanks so much. And Ashley, did you want to post your links in the chat? Like I know we're on Instagram, but are you on Facebook as well? I imagine.
I am on Facebook.
Everybody's on Facebook these days. Okay, cool. So again, for everybody listening to this, they can connect everyone in the chat. But yeah, Ashley, if you have another minute, like I'm pretty much ready to wrap this up, and we can finish just with like a super short meditation.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and okay, cool. And yeah, so just before we get to that point, I was going to say, does anybody have any questions or anything? We'll like questions first, and then just like any comments or feedback after that. But does anybody have any questions? I mean, we've covered a lot of ground here, and yeah, but at the same time, like it's very keeping it simple. Like that's the goal, keeping it simple yet effective. So, okay, so if there's no questions,
the only question I would have is, do you suggest I go ahead and start this meetups right now tonight, or should I just save it for tomorrow morning?
Give it a day.
Give it a day?
I mean, especially if you can have your location, because that way, like Ashley was saying, when the notification gets sent out, it will tell people exactly when and where, and like that will be like an initial wave of like contact for you. So
okay,
I think that's what Ashley was saying. Was that like the idea?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even have an event when I started. I just put that I was in LA.
Oh, okay.
From there.
Okay.
But
okay, yeah, I was creating. What I'm in here doing is creating a group thing in here.
Okay.
I was getting ready to punch in some numbers and get it rolling, but yeah, I think I'll probably just wait.
Okay. Cool.
So I just wait till tomorrow. I start with a fresh mind, get my YouTube channel set up properly, along with the meetups. I probably should do the YouTube channel first before the meetups anyway, and then I can build an Instagram and connect to people that way too.
Yeah, and again, you know, like for you guys, just one pretty much close final thing. Again, like within our main website of ParadigmShiftCentral.com, like we have the quest journals. So as admins, a big part of the potential behind this is for us to share the story of how our events are going. So like as you have your events, I encourage you to, in the back of your mind, think about how can I turn this into a small quest journal. So that would just mean like you writing and be like, the other day we had our first meeting and it went really well. A lot of people showed up. This is what we talked about. Like, you know, and then you can expand upon it, and hey, maybe if you happen to get like a little bit of video footage of it, then you can totally like embed that in, and then that archives it into the main website. We relay it out, and it's just a good example for other people to see. Because again, you know, the media there, it's encouraging that other person who may be like on the fence about creating a meetup or creating a shift community to see that other people are doing it, and if they can do it, I can do it. That kind of thing. So you guys are helping with like the idea of leading by example. So creating the quest journals and sharing your community updates through the quest journals through the main website is a really exciting way, and especially when we have the timeline, we can look back and see the progress in that sense. So cool. Okay, now
Brendon, one more thing about the YouTube channel. What are you? How are you doing yours in conjunction with the paradigm shift? Are you just sort of running yours like Brendon Wolfshield Culliton doing paradigm shift stuff, or are you doing like, this is my YouTube channel for Paradigm Shift London, Ontario?
Yeah, so for me, like, it's more personalized, so like not everything's related or pinned down to the meetings specifically, but they can be about the meetings. So yeah, like I would make the YouTube channel about you, or you know, it's your journey, and then every now and then you'll have a video about the meetings, sort of thing, like from a journalism perspective. So yeah.
Okay, so make that one personal, like personal journalism.
Yeah.
Personal journalism. Personal documentation of my own journey. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, every now and then, like having like, because I mean, when we do our videos, we haven't done them in a while, but I mean, I've done like some recordings. Sometimes I'll just do like audio recordings of meetings, but usually we'll do like a meeting where at the end I'll like ask the group a question, and then we'll like go around the circle and everyone will give like a 30-second, 1-minute answer. So we would just be like, what are your, you know, explain to me like how we evolve our consciousness or something like that. Yeah, it'd be more specific, but then people would be able to give like a short answer. So I mean, again, those videos are on the main website. You can find them under the community startup guide as examples of kind of just like the people. It's exciting to see the faces inside the meeting and stuff. So I mean, being able to document the meetings and then posting that through your Facebook pages or even on your meetup is a good way to like invite people out, or even just like having any sort of photographs. Documentation is really, really important. Yet at the same time, like, if it's your first meeting, like just, you know, focus on the meeting. Like you don't need to worry about like filming it at the same time, because obviously if you bring a camera into the meeting, like that's gonna like put people off and stuff like that.
It'll probably freak people out, and some people don't like having their pictures taken. Some people think they look ugly.
You want to have consent, you want to have permission, and if you're doing a video, maybe do it at the end. So I mean, you could literally do a video at the end of your meeting and be like, hey, this is Kyle. We just got done with our paradigm shift meeting. Here are my thoughts. You know, and keep it like a 5-minute video sort of thing. And you can say like, this is what we talked about. So instead of filming the meeting, you're replicating what happened in the meeting through you talking about it.
Kind of giving a little short debrief.
Yeah, a post-action report log would be
post-action report log.
Yeah,
post-action report log.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
I just want to come at one more thing.
Go ahead,
One more thing before I go. Sure. You guys might finish without me. But basically, it's like what the Greek hero Tiresias told Oedipus. It is sorrow to be wise when the rest of the world is unwise. It is but sorrow to be wise when it is not a virtue among everyone. Wise being having knowledge and being able to apply it in the world through experience. That and just got to get the brain balance of left and right brain intuition. You don't want to believe something immediately. You want to be able to question it and all that. Make sure that's apparent to followers, because someone can be enthusiastic about something, But you don't want them to blindly join. You want them to be able to be joining for a reason too. Make sure you don't run into that. Another thing is being able to embrace the negative as well as the positive, because you'll run into pessimism, just like the quote.
Yeah.
Wise, and then people have a problem with not being wise, and you run into a lot of pessimism. People really put the information out there like a rock to where it's true and it's enlightening in its own way, but it may not click with some people just because it's so, I don't know, it's kind of like an emotional thing to put, but just it's so coldly stated, which some people need, but others kind of like to joyously enhance in it. But the point I'm trying to make is to not be completely elated whenever you're learning something spiritual, to know that spiritual knowledge and any and all knowledge is the truth. Doesn't have to be nice and good. It has a negative side, and you have to understand the negativity because you yourself are a positive, negative being. Human nature is kind of a reflection of, it just is, but people make preconceived notions about human nature because we reflect what our environment is. But that's it, you know. No one's good or bad. We have those roots within us, but to enact on them is your own will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Agape, you guys have a good night.
All right.
Yeah, like I said,
everything is a
I'd
learning
like to-
experience, Roman.
Totally, yeah.
Love it.
Everything's
Love it.
information. Think for yourself. I was gonna say, like, I'm ready to finish this off just with like a 5-minute meditation, sort of visualizing the future. Roman, if you got to head out either way, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to merely just because Liam's in here, I just want to give him a chance. Liam, is your microphone working? Did you want to say hello? A little bit.
Hello.
It's
Can't
not.
hear you, brother. They're
Yeah, it
coming in
sounds like
broken and unreadable.
it's a little bit underwater. To a degree.
Can you read me?
Kind of, like, it's not the best quality.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hear you, but
Okay.
yeah.
I'll work
Oh.
on this next time.
It is very broken and unreadable
Okay.
on my end.
Well, we'll definitely Liam will. Yeah, it's still not the best. We'll definitely we'll save Liam for another broadcast though. Liam was actually just sending me a message. He's got a short story that he's working on that he's going to upload as a quest journal to the main website in parts. So that's actually like a really cool concept. And again, you know, something I encourage you guys to do is use the website as a place for creative writing as well. So, you know, you could write a story about like a starseed or something, but again, you could do it in parts and post it through the website and kind of release it as like a novel kind of thing. So there's infinite amount of creative ideas. Like the website is a creative space for us to expand our own creativity. So yeah, cool guys. Okay, last thing before we get into the meditation, does anybody have any questions? Again, just are we? I think we've covered a lot of ground. I feel that you guys have like been able to get a lot of information, a lot of value out of this. Does anybody want to share? Like, again, I just don't want to take up too much time, but I mean, you guys had fun? Yeah, thumbs up.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
I got
okay,
so
cool.
much good stuff, man. I got like
Cool.
3 pages front to back notes and all kinds of good stuff.
Cool, awesome. Okay, cool. So the last thing I will just remind you guys, and again, like for the people listening, this is that one of the most exciting ways that you can support the project is when you sign up for the team Patreon. And again, that's patreon.com/Brendon Culliton. That's like allowing this project to be maintained long term, because like the funding from that is something that will allow me to continue working on it as full-time director, but also to allow us to upgrade it and to allow us to use the resources in it to feature people's content through Facebook promotions and all sorts of things, including the shift buttons and having more free shift buttons for people in the community. And when you sign up for it, you get the Shifter Booster Kit, which comes with as many shift buttons as you want, as you ask for. So we're currently close to 500, and that's our goal to reach before the end of the month. And then from there, like the next goal will be 600, and that will be our goal to reach before the end of June. And straight up, like our full-time, like our top goal is like 2,500 a month, and like that's like equivalent to like what I would be getting paid if this was like my full-time job. But again, like it's not just money that's going in towards myself, it's money that's going in towards the community. So signing up for $3 a month is the minimum, but again, it's a great way to be able to get yourself the shift buttons so that you can use those to build community where you are, and it's just being able to help support the entire community and of course the ongoing free conscious media that we are doing. And another thing, the next broadcast relative to us doing this right now is the full moon meditation coming up this Sunday at 9 p.m. EST, and that will be a big thing. So part of the reason when we do those full moon meditations is to like connect as community, but it's also to reach a wider audience. So we'll do those, we'll put it out there, and then that will actually attract new people to get involved with the team and with the project. And we'll see that over the coming weeks as new people joining the team and being like, oh, I just found out about this, how can I be involved? So you guys will be, as you guys get involved, you guys will be helping welcome in new members as well. So thank you so much to fellow leaders and admins within this community, captains amongst captains. So I honor you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, let's move into let's move into our just a short meditation. So I just invite you guys to get relaxed, close your eyes, and we'll just mute microphones if you haven't muted them yet on your end. And what I encourage you guys to do with this meditation, as you just allow your body to relax, is we're going to visualize the future of our meetings, of our meetups, the energy of them. So let's just allow ourselves to relax. You can straighten up your spine. Imagine someone pulling a string from the top of your head. And then we'll just connect with the breath. So gentle inhales through the nose. And gentle exhales through the nose or the mouth. So just continue to breathe. Inhales. And exhales. And as you inhale, inhale courage. And as you exhale, exhale compassion. And so just allowing the breath to guide you, take a moment here to really connect and to even remember what it is that you are here to do on your own quest and for your communities. So take a moment here to listen to the future, to know that your meetings, that your community events already exist, that you are already connected to the people in your community who you have yet to meet. All you have to do is take those first steps. So continue to breathe. And continue. Just allow yourself to be in this space. And take the next couple moments here to visualize your meetings, to visualize your events, to visualize the change that you are. So inhales, exhales, and just stay in this space for the next couple moments, collectively, as a team across the world, strengthening the grid, one action at a time. Now I just invite you guys to take your hand and gently put it on your chest. And so just take a moment here to connect with your heartbeat, to connect with our collective heartbeat. Reminding ourselves that we are a part of something much bigger, and that we have chosen to come here to Earth in this moment, in this generation, to be a part of something incredibly exciting. And so to feel that excitement, the excitement of creation, the excitement of community, the excitement of new friends, of empowerment, of healing, of sacred space. Remember that you already are. Acknowledge the potential. Connect with the pine cone that is within your heart. Nurture it. Allow it to open. So let's take a few more breaths here. You are magic. Remember that. Imagine that. Imagine I am a jinn. You are a genie, a magician, a creator. You can create the space so that others will find it, because they already have. So see that future. Know that you're already connected to it. And allow our collective story, our collective confidence, our collective courage to guide all of us forward on this path together as one. So just a couple more breaths. Allow any tingling sensations up the spine. Acknowledge those if you feel them. Deep exhales. You can vocalize your exhales. We'll just do a couple more. One more deep exhale. Good. So just continue to allow the rhythm of your breath to guide you through this present moment into the future. The breath will carry you there. And slowly maintaining the intention in this moment to carry beyond it. You are capable. You will do great things. You will make a difference in this world because you already have. I see you. I honor you. And I love you. Aloha. So take a couple breaths here and slowly bring your awareness back to your physical body. And gently wiggle your fingers, your toes. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to the space around you. remember, guys, being a shifter, it means to be one of action. And that's why this is important. Because that's what this world needs. It needs people who are willing to take those actions, to make those choices, and to lead by example. And like I said, we're vanguards. This is the start of something. Yet this is a continuation of a story that has been happening for many, many years. But with technology at our fingertips, like, there's a lot that we can do. It's really, really exciting. So cool. All right, guys, you guys can unmute yourself. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
thanks, so
Love
guys.
you all.
Thanks, Liam. Thanks,
I
Sherman.
love
Thanks,
you
Maria.
all. It's amazing.
All right, guys. So from here, again, reminding the next admin meeting will be in a month from now. So the intention is, let's go do stuff. Let's get stuff done. Even, for the people who are listening to this, for the people who aren't in the meeting, if you hear the call, you can do stuff, and then, report back in a month from now. We'll share stories. We'll tell what's happened, and we'll see where we are. And yeah, and so other than that, technical-wise, the next Thursday and the one after that will be a regular team-building hangout. You guys can tune in for that. And then the Thursday after that will be the next Paradigm Shift Destiny class, Destiny School, and that will be on health and fitness. And again, you guys can tune into that. And of course, the Global Full Moon Meditation, which is coming up May 22nd. And of course, recordings are all online. And just encourage you guys to go explore the website and create your quest journals. Quest journals, every quest journal that you make gives you a token, and those tokens are exchanged for shift buttons in the future. And of course, just inviting you guys, if you guys are like, wow, this is awesome, I love this project, I love the free content, and I get a lot of value of it, sign up for the Patreon when you can. And that's like a huge way of just making sure that this keeps on going. So thank you so much, guys. So cool, guys. Any comments that you guys just want to have to share for the people listening out there? Please feel free to do so. If you guys have anything you feel you want to say.
When you guys are out there and you're in the mix of things, and if you come across something that you might see as a mistake, or something that maybe just didn't go as you planned, try and think of it this way. In a shamanic belief system, or if you practice shamanism of any kind, which shamanism kind of comes to you naturally anyway, a lot of people will get upset at a mistake, but a shaman will make it look like the will of the gods. Everything is a lesson.
Yeah.
Try and take that from things. It's just something I try and keep with myself every day, because we're all going to make mistakes. But when you do, try and take something from it. Don't just let it upset you.
Yeah. Did it happen to you, or did it happen for you? And
yes.
It always happened for you. Everything that happens to you is a part of your awakening. Like, that's a paradigm shift in itself. And once you sort of realize that, like, the flow starts flowing. So yeah, cool.
Those are the words I have to leave us with.
Thanks so much, Kyle. I'm looking forward to hearing how things go for you over the next month. This is going to be very exciting for all of us. So
absolutely,
cool.
I'm very excited too.
And Ashley, I'm excited. I'm excited for your events, bringing together the Starseeds and the Lightworkers in California.
And everyone too.
And everyone. That's right, for sure. And Ashley, did you want to say anything to people listening, or?
No, just thank you so much, and just remember, everyone, to be unique, be who you are, love yourself, and love others, and yeah, I love everyone.
Awesome.
Cool. And everyone who's watching.
All right, so we'll wrap it up on that note. Thank you so much again, guys, for tuning in. And again, if you want to connect with any of the people you've heard in this broadcast, I'll include the links for their profiles in the show notes, which you'll find through the main Paradigm Shift Central website under the community admin meeting for May 19th. And you can connect to me on Facebook as well under Skull Babylon and youtube.com/Skull Babylon. And again, go explore the website. There's a lot of stuff on there: past broadcasts, full-length movies, quest journals, all sorts of amazing stuff, and you can be a part of it too. So with that said, thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this, and let's all say farewell to the people of the internet. So until next time, guys, farewell. We love you guys.
Farewell, internet.
All right, guys. Keep it 50, and we'll see you in the future. Peace out, guys. Thanks again. One love.